I started making a motherfucking sandwich, and Dev just texted me, "Hey, motherfucker, we're recording." Like, God damn
it. hey, to be fair, I was eating spaghetti, and I offered to jump in, so it's in the microwave, and I'll finish it.
Well, you're never
gentlemen, if you're joining us, this is the pre-show.
Oh, snap.
What was just a show that probably wasn't even going to happen. What a thing.
We can't let it not happen.
What a thing. It was a mess, man. It was a mess of a week. It was a mess of a show. So, yeah, we're going to do this pre-show, and then I'll do the bumper roll, and we won't even edit this out, but.
No, don't do that.
Oh, my God. So, I've had a terrible week. It's completely busy and full of work and everything that I don't want to do, and I had to go to work every day, all the way downtown every day. Every day is starting at like 5 a.m. It's a mess. And I messaged Delvin earlier today, and I'm like, man, I am really looking forward to podcasting with you guys later because I just want to hang out. Like, I just want some fun. And then I get home and I walk into my door and my fucking water heater exploded and my entire basement is flooded. And I'm just like,
that sucks.
Fuck! Because all I wanted to do today is come home and take a nap before I recorded this podcast. Like that's all I had in my to-do list. I was like, oh, if I just get home, I can take a cat nap, maybe a shower to wake up. So I've been down here bailing water out of my water heater by the bucket because for whatever reason, they put the water heater at like the lowest point in the entire house. So the pitch is uphill, so it doesn't go out a hose. So and I understand that I'm whining, and I'm sorry for that.
No, you're fine.
No, you're not whining at all.
I'm sitting here and I'm like, I just got to get to the podcast. I just got to get to the podcast. I'm sure you guys are aware of that feeling. It's like I just get to the recording and I'll hang out and it'll be fine. It'll be fine. Mm-hmm. And then it's like 9:21 and Devin's like, sorry guys, can't podcast. I'm like, God damn it.
Yeah,
not the day for that.
Yeah, and I was in the middle of recording when I got. I'm like, oh shit, I missed a lot.
So I'm like, all right, let's wait for Delvin. 5, 6, 7 minutes goes by. I'm like, he's not gonna see this. I was like, all right, I'm just gonna postpone the show. I'm like, what day works for you, Dev? He's like, Friday. I'm like, and I go, is Friday work? And he goes, actually, no, tomorrow. Well, if we're gonna record tomorrow, that means we got to move Shaq. Right. So now I'm on the phone with the Shaq crew, and I'm like, guys, I hate doing this to you so late. I'm so sorry, but can we record tomorrow? Because they're always amazing. They're the A show. We always say PSVG, the flagship show of places. No. Not even close. The flagship show. I can't even get my own co-host to show up here anymore. That's a joke, Dev. I love you. That's really
not really.
I don't know about Elaine. Like we haven't talked, so who knows? So again, another joke. And I'm sitting there and I'm like, all right, we got to move everything. I get Shaq. They're so gracious. They're like, great. We moved. Everything's good. The hell, here comes Delvin, like a bull in a china shop. He's like, I can't record Friday, or I can't record tomorrow. And then Dev's like, yeah, I can't record tomorrow either. I'm like, I've already moved everything.
Yeah.
I'm going to rip something open with my bare hands. I'm going to go doom on something, Sean.
Man, I'm sorry to hear that. I feel like I was doing that to Ryan Turford earlier today, actually. I woke up this morning, went to the gym, felt pretty good about it, came home, and everything is getting messed up. And at some point, I'm picking Lincoln up from school at about lunchtime, and at some point, I'm maybe not, and I'm not sure. And so I'm messaging Ryan all these updates. But Ryan works a different kind of shift from me. Like he works until 4 a.m, so he doesn't get up until 10 or 11 or whatever my time. So by the time he wakes up, he's got 14 messages from me going like, we're in for 12 hour usual time. Can we do it later? How about this weird other time that I'm suggesting? I feel so bad for him. I'm like, I'm just a mess and I'm just dumping all this crap on you. In the end, we ended up exactly like I could have just said nothing. He wouldn't have known anything at all, that I'm not a complete disaster and that everything would have went off just the same. So I get it, is what I'm trying to say.
5 minutes of pre-show later. Thank you, Sean and Haley, for answering the call on an extreme late notice. I attempted to find others and I couldn't. And I know that Haley will always jump in, and I hope you understand when I say this. Like, we could always have Haley on, but me, Haley, and Delvin is just PSXP.
Yeah.
We want to hit that well too hard. So I was like, I need to invite somebody else if we're going to do that. So thank you to both of you. Thanks to Sean.
Yeah.
And, we will put this shit show that probably should. See, usually when you come in this hot to something, the answer is to just stop. Just turn it off.
Yeah.
Go to bed. Go to bed.
I was legit making a sandwich. I was like, all right, I guess that's done for the day.
Hold on. He can't
Let it
record,
go.
but he can hang out in the chat.
Oh, is he here? No way.
Yes.
Oh my
Kick
god.
rocks, Dev.
Motherfucker.
Like I tell
Oh my god. Okay, with that, let's begin the show. And with all that said, thank you for tuning in to yet another episode of Play Some Video Games, the sidekick podcast of the PSVG Podcast Network. I am not your host, but I will do my best this evening to steward this conversation along. Joining me is my co-host, Delvin Cox.
Fuck you, Dev. That's all I gotta say.
Very apropos.
He's
My-
in the chat.
My time of the month co-host, Sean Capri. Sweet hangs, dude.
It's me, Sweet Hangs.
I
Sweet
need the
Hangs.
Sweet hangs.
I was looking
And
for my Canadian flag. I don't know where it is.
Answering the call as always, Miss Haley Miller. Welcome back.
Howdy.
We've got a fun show, but let's start off with what we're playing. And if you missed our intro or prologue into this, I haven't played a damn thing. I've been so busy. It's just been like Steam Deck. I've been playing in bed before bed. I've been playing Clock Tower and GTA 5 on my Steam Deck. That's all
Nice.
I'm really playing. GTA 5 on Steam Deck is quite excellent, actually. It's 60 frames a second, which is
Ooh.
impressive. Like even at 800p, 60
cool.
frames a second is really, really nice. It feels really, really good to play in terms of the gunplay and the driving and everything. A little edgy, but stable.
I have a question.
Yeah.
Don, first time, long time.
First time, long
Sean
time.
Capri here. First time, long time. On this device of yours, what's the noise like? What's the noise level? The fans, the expulsion of heat. What's this thing like?
Yeah,
and I'll tell you why I'm asking the question before I finish. I have this Surface here from work. It was asleep, and it was just like a like it wasn't doing a thing,
My
and the
computer
fans
does
were
that.
going full blast. So I'm curious this gaming little switch thing that you've got
When
here.
the fan goes on, you can definitely hear it because it has a high-pitched little whirl.
It's squealing out of there.
It doesn't bother me at all. And I don't say that as like if it bothered me, I'd let you know. Everybody
Mhm.
knows that. The audio speakers for the Steam Deck are so great.
Oh
that
yeah,
it drowns that out.
yeah.
Like you don't have to wear headphones to drown it out. Like the speakers, like when I'm playing GTA and I'm listening to music, I'm not even hearing that fan. But when it's like booting up or something's running in the background, or if I have it paused, like you can definitely touch it. It sounds like a real little fan.
Yeah.
It's not blowing that much energy.
Mhm.
But it just has that little high pitched whirl that you can definitely pick up. For
It's
sure.
just crazy. The amount of power coming out of this thing is just wild to me. So it's like, got to be generating some heat. It's doing something.
There's
inside there.
widespread speculation and rumoring that they're going to be fixing the fans. Like iFixit already has fan replacement kits that they're like peddling.
Oh, really?
There are other places they're like, we're going to fix the fans. And then Valve themselves, they're like, yeah, as we keep making more of these, we're going to look into this. So I would expect that there'll be like a Gen 2 fan upgrade at some point quickly. But it's not, I would never replace my Steam Deck or move my Steam Deck or anything to get a better fan. To be honest with you, I would never buy a fan replacement.
Yeah.
It's not that bothersome.
Like for money. Yeah.
Yeah. They'd be like, here's a new fan for, I don't know, $35. I'm good. I'd rather.
Oh,
spend
really?
That,
Oh,
I'd
even for
rather
30.
spend that on a game.
$35?
I wouldn't
rather-
even want to open it up.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Like that's probably the more so the
That's
thing.
the thing. It's not. It's to me. It's not even worth investigating because it's just not that big of a bother.
Yeah. You open the thing up to change out the fans, and you break the little touch pads. Something in there.
Look at Dev. I hope all bad things in life happen to you.
Damn.
That's
Um,
Also,
you guys have a
only
special
directed at
friendship,
one.
man.
yes.
that we do.
Pretty accurate.
I did play a little bit of a game. I played through chapter 2. This is a game that's been on my to-do list for a while now. I got a code about a month ago, and I just haven't got to it. I honestly was saving it for Steam Deck, but it's not controller supported yet on Steam Deck. And that is What Lies in the Multiverse. There's this indie platforming game that is available everywhere. And just through 2 chapters in, I have to tell you guys, I'm smitten with it quite hard. It's really good. And it might be, I want to say like impressive platformers, but I don't mean it in the terms of like the platforming is so impressive. Have you guys ever heard of this game before?
No.
Okay.
I think I saw it like a trailer of it or something like that.
Yeah, I think it's been going around Twitter quite a bit, and it's from Untold Tales, which have done several things. And it's one of these indie games. It's we've had games like it before where it's a platformer that you have the ability to like alter your your environment. So you can click a button and you can like flip between like this world and that world, and then you've got to use that mechanic to platform because there are certain platforms in this world that aren't in the other world, and vice versa. But what I've never seen a game like this do is the storytelling and the writing is so funny. It's almost like shades of Golf Story entertainment in just the dialogue. And then the whole, like before, usually when I see these platformers, it's a very like light and dark mechanic, like a heaven and hell type of thing.
Mm-hmm.
This isn't. It starts that way, but then it's like it goes in a bunch of. So the whole point is it's a multiverse. This kid creates a simulation and he transverses the multiverse, and now he's going through where he can just flip and flop between multiverses, and it's hilarious and dark and gritty and bright and like hopeful and in like all those kind of like indie artsy ways.
Yeah.
And it kind of looks like Fez, it's pixelish, so it's really cute and vibrant. And 4K, it looks really great. And it's the platforming and the puzzles are good. Like through 2 chapters, I'm like, I feel smart. I'm having fun. Like this is good stuff. So if it was on Steam Deck, I would have played it weeks ago. But again, as I said, I haven't had a whole lot of time to play. But as I was trying to prepare for the podcast tonight, I did get in about an hour and a half with it, and it's fantastic. It's one of it's an indie standout for me, and you guys know how much I play indies. This is definitely like one that I think is going to be in my memory for most of the year already. I hate to give it that much so early, but just early on, it's just like, damn, that hits hard. That's good.
That's how you know it's a good game.
Yeah, it's got its hooks in me, even early. I'm digging it. Digging it again. The name of the game is What Lies in the Multiverse. So I'm digging it quite a
Sounds
bit.
dope.
Delvin, tell me what you've been up to, man.
I've been up to my own little multiverse in terms of everything. Like, I don't know if people been following me on Twitter, but I finally got 50 Cent Blood in the Sand.
Oh man, we can all rest easy.
Yes. I didn't have to pay $100 for it as people are trying to sell it for on eBay.
That's
Kiss my
ridiculous.
ass. I'm not paying that much for it.
Absurd.
Yes. I got it for like $30.
No.
That's still absurd.
But
it's good enough.
that's okay.
So I booted it back up a couple days ago, and it's still awesome. The controls were way off. Like I forgot that the original controls for was like you shoot with R1 and shit like that. Like no.
It's a PS2 game, right?
Yeah, dude.
No, it was a PS3.
Yeah, they were
Oh,
still making
well,
games
I mean,
like that during the PS3.
Like during
All games were like that until
Yeah.
like the last year and a half of PS3
Yes.
360.
yeah.
I immediately changed those controls quickly back to what it's supposed to be. Like nah, we got to go back to the good old
Infamous is
fashioned.
like that, right?
Yes,
think
it
so,
is.
yeah.
L1 and
Yeah.
R1 to shoot.
Yeah.
And it's funny because it's still that way for Second Son and First Light.
Yeah.
Not doing that.
You gotta love
I'm
those
sure-
games that are like, we're gonna stay with it. It's like, but you shouldn't.
Although
Yeah.
to be fair, Infamous has both heavy and light attacks, so it makes sense that they have like the light attacks on the R1 and the heavy attacks on R2.
As we
I guess.
advance in society, we should get rid of those type of things and move forth.
Okay.
Enough. Like let's just move forth. Let's not do this anymore. Like, hey, the triggers are there for a reason. You don't want the trigger there like to Shake
I hate
hands.
to interrupt
It's
you,
the
but
shoot.
you said triggers and you started talking. I completely forgot. One of my biggest updates of this week was acquiring the Dawn.
Oh yeah,
Yeah.
that's dope.
As I have named it. This is my first ever Xbox Design Labs controller. Complete
That looks
with
great.
Eat the Hype. I've got purple sticks and D-pad with black buttons, black bumpers, and purple triggers, all in this nice white and black grips.
Ooh.
Looks
Quite
really
proud
good.
of it. I'm quite proud of it. Even as it sits here on my stand next to me, I'm like, damn, that's a good looking controller.
Yeah, and you got the
Looks really
grippy
good.
grips. Like it's rubber grips, is it?
Yeah.
On the back?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Here, Sean,
They
hold
added
on.
those recently. I
Yeah.
ordered ours with
This
the
is-
original.
Yes.
Oh my god.
This-
Oh
this
yeah,
is
the ones on the
Horizon-
Forza one. Yeah, I have that one
Horizon
too.
Controller, which I
Yeah.
can't use because I don't have a Series
Well,
X
see,
anymore.
that one
Thanks,
feels more
Mark.
like a steering wheel, where this is the etched design. A little different.
Oh, okay. Yeah, that's
Yeah.
what I was wondering if they were if you can buy the rubber grips. I
Mhm.
feel like you might be able to at this point, but
Yeah, you can.
yeah.
And, Sean, you always talk about that.
The
Did you
grippy
sit
grips.
back? Did you sit back and admire your work? Like
Yeah.
when this controller came, I was like, damn, that's a good
Yeah,
controller. You did a good
yeah.
job.
Yeah, that's what's good. That's what's in your future with the cleanup of the basement and everything. Like now it sucks, but at a certain point, you're gonna have it all cleaned up. It's gonna look great, and you're gonna stand there with your hands on your hips. You're just gonna nod to yourself, like, "Yeah, man, good job."
Controller.
Yeah, you did it. You can't help it. And now, like I'm saying this now, you're gonna forget we have this conversation until those hands just like they go up on their own. They got little minds of their own. You're like,
Yeah, man.
"What are you doing? Look at this."
It's so clean, and I like that kind of style, like minimized style,
Yeah,
and it definitely looks legit. Like
purple's a good
honestly
choice.
I could see Xbox doing controllers that look just like this.
Yeah.
It's nice.
Oh,
Nice.
the
Sorry to interrupt,
Furby.
Calvin.
The
Oh, no problem.
comments made the Furby controller comment. I was like, that thing was terrifying.
The who?
Yeah,
There-
they made a Furby controller.
Yeah,
Oh, fuck out of here.
Yeah.
it looks
Stupid.
horrifying.
That's stupid.
Deb's still here.
That's almost as dumb as me playing 50 Cent Blood to say.
That's true. That's
Yes.
true. Spot on.
So as I'm shooting people with Tony Yayo, I'm enjoying the game. The game's a blast. All of this is just geared to war with 50 Cent. Ridiculous story. You're just sitting there chasing after this crystal skull because 50 Cent didn't get paid for
Would
a
have been
show.
better if they put 50 Cent in Gears of War.
That would have
Mhm.
worked.
Now we're fucking talking, right?
That would have worked too. Same amount of cursing.
Would
Him and
50 Cent
Batista?
be himself or
Dude, just Hive Busters Chapter 2. Batista, 50
50 Cent.
Cent. Yeah.
50 Curtis Jackson Cent. 'Cause that's what they call him now because he's an actor and producer now and director and all that stuff.
Uh-huh.
He doesn't just go by 50 anymore.
Uh-huh.
Big time.
Sure.
I- sure.
That's what happens when you make money. Call yourself whatever you want to.
You guys have 50 Cent. We just got Nickelback up here.
Oh,
I think we won.
That's it.
It's safe to say we won.
I think we can send Nickelback into a vortex.
Hey,
I like Nickelback.
I like Nickelback. I was just about to say, I like Nickelback.
For those who probably
The
can
pop
hear it, my
culture
mom is
hating on
shouting.
Nickelback has gone way too far. They're better.
Yeah.
It
They're not
hasn't gone
great.
far enough.
They're not
Guys, the
amazing,
Spider-Man song.
but they're better than that.
That's the only song I know.
And they're one of the better, and in all seriousness, they're one of the better rock bands of like the last 20 years. And
Yeah, man.
And I'm not saying that because I think they're good. I'm just think about rock bands of the last 20 years.
I mean-
and how many of them like either didn't stay around or didn't make it and things like that. Like
Nickelback killed them. They couldn't
Nickelback
survive the
has-
Nickelback wave.
they have like, they probably have. I don't know, but they probably have like, I don't know, 5, 8 albums, probably 10, 12 singles.
Hmm.
In terms
did
of the
pretty well.
rock genre these days, that's pretty damn good.
I don't know. I
Ugh.
mostly listen to like My Chemical Romance and
I'll listen to that too.
stuff like that.
Mhm.
Same.
Not
But
an
they
either or.
made more money than they did. Like
Oh, I know.
Dev, you could have kept this from happening. You could have kept us from going from G Unit to Nickelback if you were in this square.
Yeah,
Yeah.
you're not
But
here.
I'm in this square.
To
Big
answer
time.
your question, Dev, white people.
Stop giving,
That's 100% how that happened.
stop giving him power over the show, okay? He didn't want to be here. He can't do it. So stop it. You can't. Just moving on.
Yes. But the game's great. I love it. I'm also playing, which is probably more interesting to people. I bought a Japanese PS2
Why?
because I like to play Japanese games, and particularly for one game in particular. Transformers had a PS2 game that was based off the 80s cartoon show, but it only came out in Japan, which is weird because it's dubbed in English and it has English subtitles. So the whole game is in English, but it never came to the States.
I might leave this up the entire show, just right here next to Haley.
That is perfect. It's called, I think it's called Transformers Call to the Future, and you literally can play with every G1 Transformer character. Optimus Prime, Rodimus Prime, Megatron, Galvatron. The whole plot is essentially a big giant crossover where the 80s Transformers meet the 90s Transformers in one big old. It plays a little bit like how you expect the PS2 version of War for Cybertron would play. Essentially, you get to pick 3 Autobots. Obviously, you're picking Optimus Prime because nobody else is picking all the rest of those Autobots. You can pick Optimus Prime.
You're saying a lot of words. I'm not nearly as into Transformers as you and Dev are.
I am a huge Transformers fan.
I can tell. You bought a Japanese PlayStation just to
and it was actually cheap.
You emulate that? You couldn't just like download it as a ROM. You needed hardware for it.
Yes.
That's impossible.
And it was only $50 for the Japanese PS2.
Okay.
It was $50.
Sorry, it was $50 for the Japanese PS2 or $50 for the game?
$50 for the PS2, and I think it was like $40 for the game.
See, we could have just put this on your like SNES Mini, and you could have played it there.
That's so much for one game.
That's $100.
PS2.
That's like one game for PS5 right now.
Yeah, you can't get Assassin's Creed for that much. Yeah, Assassin's Creed costs more than that.
Yeah, that's nothing compared to what things are costing now.
For a PS2 game.
I love Sean's look. Look at him.
I'm so confused. Like I look at that, and maybe I'm a little jealous is really what I am. Because like good for you for knowing what you want and going to get it. Like I'll start by saying that. Like good for you.
Look at Sean.
But that
look at Sean.
Like this is I'm very torn on this because who was I talking to the other day where I'm like, we back in the day, you plan this sort of thing out. You'd have like your birthday wish, your Christmas wish. You get 2 games a year. We have all know this story.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, well, some of us know the story. It's fairly common. I apologize if it's not for absolutely everybody.
That's okay.
But now we're at a stage where while we're listening or while we're recording this podcast, we will accidentally acquire 3 or 4 games. Yes. And at a certain point, like this was actually true the last time I brought this up, because like in the middle of recording whatever I was recording at the time, Nintendo was like, here's 3 games to Nintendo Switch Online. Like you just get games added all the time. You just like, we have so many games at our disposal and you're going like way out of your way for something very specific. So I say like, good for you, but it's also like, you got other stuff too. So I don't know.
I love Transformers.
That's the no dev effect. Okay, it's not just Sean. Yeah, it's the no dev effect. Yeah, it's just a much positive show.
I agree. Dev just brings down the show with his negativity and whatever he brings to the show. I don't know why.
It's something, man. No, it's something else. It's to go like I'm in the middle of trying to figure out like what do I want to play next. Like I've got one thing that's kind of on the go here, but I just feel like I always struggle with this. But at the same time, I really did just go out and buy a Game Boy Pocket from LuckyGames.com. So I guess that's about as like, but it was $100. It wasn't. I don't know. It's
nostalgia is a hell of a drug. I mean, we've all been there.
It is.
We've all.
Yeah. And that's really what it is for me because I when I was a kid, I was like 16. I modded a PS2 and I was playing a whole bunch of Japanese things.
I did the same thing. And
I was like, I was enjoying my time with it.
I wasn't playing Transformers, but there were like, I feel like Digimon games.
Games.
It was not Monster Hunter. What was
it?
It was like
horror
Digimon,
games,
but it wasn't called Digimon. It was called Monster something.
Monster Rancher, I think it's called.
Nailed it. Yep.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
I remember.
I was buying all those games. Mm-hmm. I was buying all those games and burning other ones that I couldn't get.
Fire Pro.
Yes.
I've told this story before. Like longtime PSVG fans have heard, but I had a cousin named Suzanne. I always called her Susie. She was real influential to me for like 2-year period there, and she was so into Japanese stuff, and like that's where I like did like Suda and Kojima and met like a lot of that stuff. And she tried to get me into RPGs, and that didn't stick as much. But all of that like alt stuff did. All that alternative stuff definitely did, and we were doing that type of stuff for sure.
Yeah, it's fun. It's fun. It's just fun in general. Just going back and playing stuff that you remember from your childhood, just to even see if it was good as you remember it.
Yeah, and it rarely is. Sometimes it is.
Fortunately, the Transformer game is as good as I remember it. For better or worse, it's a PS2 game, and it plays like a PS2 game. All the quirks and things with it. And no, the Japanese PS2 I bought was a PS2 Slim, and I never owned one of those. So that was pretty cool.
Is it in Japanese? Like, is it the OS? Are you operating in Japanese and guessing where things are?
You can change everything to English. So it's basically a PS2.
But it has to start in Japanese and then you change it to English. Is that what you're saying?
Yes.
So you need to know.
You had to look that up on YouTube.
You ever have anybody like steal your phone back in the day and they mess with your language settings? And you're like, well, now I'm just totally screwed.
I don't know where anything is.
I don't know where anything is.
In modern technology, all I had to do was use Google Translate on my phone, aim it towards the screen, it tells me exactly what it says.
I've never had an actual use for that. That is awesome.
Yeah,
that's like James Bond stuff right there.
He doesn't turn on game mode, and he's all like, "I've got it on my phone. I did
this." Okay, on that, I tweeted earlier today, earlier last night, about the VRR update for PlayStation. This guy, Delvin, right over here, just tweets no 16 times at me.
I just didn't fuck with you because it's funny. I knew you would respond.
Haley, she gets this all the time from everybody on the team. You're too easy, Haley.
Yeah, easy. I know.
Okay, well, it's nice, man. It's cool you got your Japanese PlayStation 2. That's awesome.
I will say one more thing before I move on that annoys me with video games. I wish video games stopped doing this. Haley keeps telling me to finish Horizon, so I say, okay, I'm going to finish Horizon. I'm playing it yesterday, and I'm doing the thing where you have to like upgrade your pouches and stuff like that.
Can't believe you guys are still playing this game.
I can't believe I'm still playing
It's almost May.
Yes. But
it's a big game. That's actually how long you should be playing. I'll give you guys credit. Most people rush through this, and I don't think, like myself maybe included, but I think this game is way bigger than people talk. The way people talk about it sounds like mini Assassin's Creed. It's like
way bigger than. Yeah, it's got to be way bigger than the first one because
I'm close to platinum. It totally is. I'll put it that way. I'm very close to platinum in the game. So
you've been saying that for like 6 weeks.
Yeah, but I did not stop playing because people keep saying, play this thing. And I'm like, all right, I'll try this. And then I don't like
the game that's so great that it drove him to go buy a Japanese PS2.
That's exactly
submits to peer pressure on
captivating
games too quickly.
Yes, well, everything except drugs.
I said on games. I specifically noted games.
Yes, pretty much. But so this is the thing that annoys me about this game. They tell you, hey, go find these 4 rabbit foots, right?
Mm-hmm.
That's not exactly what they tell you, but that's what it essentially is.
Mark a location on your map, yes.
You mark a location on your map, right? You go to the area, you find a rabbit, you kill the rabbit. Then they're like, oh, this doesn't have what you're looking for.
Yes, the loot pool is randomized. Welcome to RPGs.
It's a fucking rabbit. If you're asking for rabbit feet, if you kill a rabbit, shouldn't it did the feet disappear? After you killed it,
there are 2 things that can spawn as loot from animals and I mean live animals.
Haley, she's got the actual facts. She's like,
that is
2 things that can spawn from each animal you hunt.
Chance on each pool.
You have a 50% chance. You can either get a bone or the actual item you need, and the bones are needed for some of the pouches.
If I shoot a bird right now because I need the bird's feathers, if I go outside and shoot a bird, it's dead.
I'm on Steve Delvin here.
I can pull the feathers off. But in the video game, if I shoot that same bird, no, I have to shoot 10 birds to get that feather.
Animal
that
meat
is stupid.
Or the feathers, and you'll usually get animal meat. Yep, I know. Hi, I
upgraded
armor to legendary. Hi, ask me how long that took.
In the far future, we don't get better, you guys. You know, the people before us, they used every bits of those animals. Now we go like, I'll take the foot and like leave the rest. Oh, snap, I should have grabbed the heart. They used to use every little bit.
It makes no sense, and Dev is right. Just give me the shit I need. If I have to go kill a shark, give me what I need from killing the shark. Don't make me kill 30 sharks to get 1 shark fin. It's stupid.
I'm with you, man. That's the kind of stuff that make me like bounce.
Mm-hmm.
I ain't got time for this. Who's got time for this?
That's how I felt. I was like, this is why I went to Transformers.
Obviously, the answer is Haley. Haley, she's like, I got time for this.
I do have time for it.
Nice.
Haley has too much time. She's watching like Vampire Diaries and shit like that.
Yeah, we're not doing that. Wrong show.
Wrong
show. We're not doing that.
You can hear about that when we record it on Sunday, sir. I know the rules for this show.
Yeah,
Sean, my partner in crime.
Hey, man.
What have you been up to, man?
I'm excited.
Guy. Gotta say it. It's a good looking guy.
He is. I mean, you don't pull a Chelsea Capri just by luck, by happiness.
Yeah, that's facts.
Mm-hmm.
Money.
I like to think he showed up in a suit. It was very, like Uncharted-esque, like Nathan Drake vibes.
You know what? I will say, Chelsea and I have known each other for a long time.
I'm out in crime, in my spare time.
No, I've aged well, I would say. I'll say that much. I was not like you put Chelsea and I when we met next to each other. It's like, what is she doing with him? What the heck is going on there? Like, I had to catch up a little bit. Very lucky. I am excited to talk to you, Donnie, especially, and anybody else, of course, jump on it. You've talked a lot about a particular series, one of your favorites, a game I'm jumping into right now, Life is Strange, True Colors.
Hey.
I'm finally in. This game is on Game Pass, and quick plug for the Carpool Gaming community. We're playing this as part of a video game book club. Game book club. We're all playing it. We're all going to chat about it in the Discord. Great, looking forward to that. And I'm still kind of early in, almost the end of chapter 2, but this game is gorgeous. And I love the ability that Alex has, and I love the twist that I've seen so far. It's not what I was expecting. Something happens and very sudden, really out of nowhere. And I was really not expecting that. And right from the moment this game fired up, I was like, okay, there's something here. The last game like this that I played was the last one. Damn it. What the heck was it called? Life is Strange?
2.
No, what's it? Shoot. No. Oh man. It wasn't even the same developers. It's kind of, tell me why. Thank you. Yeah, that's the last sort of thing that I came to realize that like these games I don't play when they come out. I don't go like, okay, clear my schedule. I can't wait to sit here and cry. That's not how I've approached these types of games. And it's for my benefit, I think, that I get more out of them like this. Like the time has come for me to play this game. I got Horizon out of the way. I had God of War earlier this year. I played Lego. Like I've done a bunch of stuff. Now it's like I'm ready to experience what this game has to offer, and I'm completely open to it. And I am really enjoying what it has to offer. And I actually don't want it to be over. Usually with these games where I know if I spend 90 minutes at a time, I'll just like crush through a chapter. But I'm really just kind of enjoying it as I'm going through it. And I feel like I've heard you talk about it quite a lot. So every once in a while, there'll be like a little like Donnie angel or devil like popping up on my shoulder and going like, that power is going a little too far. That's not the original intent or the spirit of the power that they gave this character. And I remember that. I remember you saying that from months ago. And you're right. Like it's definitely going places. Like, okay, I can put together a scene in this space that happened 20 years ago because I'm getting vibes from this record.
I think they nailed it with the first interaction. They're like,
yeah, totally.
Empathy.
Yeah.
And I was like, oh, this is gonna be great. And I just don't think it ever got that good again.
Yeah. Yeah, there is a moment with an elderly character in a flower shop that I thought they really crushed it there as well. Just having family who's been there, and it's just like that in and of itself. I feel like the devs are flexing their own. If I can be so maybe meta here, up my own ass about the game, that for them to have enough empathy and sensitivity to what somebody might be going through to portray it through this sort of way, and for them to put a character next to them to feel all that, and it all seems to work. Like this person is suffering from some sort of like dementia or Alzheimer's or something.
Alzheimer's.
And the clouds come up and life turns to death, and the fear and the confusion and the wanting to hide it, like it all worked. And after, the reason I'm not further ahead is because that scene kind of happened. I put the controller down. I'm like, I'm not in a bad way. I was just going to let that kind of sink in a little bit and kind of appreciate it, because I think for far too often I just play games just to play them. And I kind of just want to let that moment happen. And I really did appreciate that interaction. I anticipate the rest of the game will have 1 to 2, maybe more memorable moments like that kind of per chapter.
Personally, I would say the best highlights of the game are still ahead of you.
Oh yeah.
Oh wow!
In fact, my favorite chapter is coming out for you. No spoilers, but Donnie knows.
You're about to get into what I would consider the best part of the game, and I also think the game ends on a very strong note.
Yep.
And I think both of those things are highlights. Those are the things that come immediately to me in my memory of the game. I think my favorite things about the game are in front of you.
Then, man, I will save my sort of final verdict obviously until I'm done. But like that has me with no doubt that this will be a great game because I'm really enjoying it so far. And that's what's going on.
It's also, I know that I'm like the quantified like PSVG like achievement hunter, whatever. Like I'm the one that goes after platinums and all that. But it's also one of a few games where like not even for trophy reasons, but like the way that Alex's powers interact with the collectibles, it made me want to go find them all.
Yeah, it's rewarding. It's not just like, oh, you found it. It's like, oh, there's actually, you get something out of it.
Yeah, that's true.
I did play the arcade games that seem to be kind of like throughout. There's a Attack of
there's a Hot
Dough,
Dog
or
Man one as well.
yeah, there's some really good arcade experiences in there, and if there's any knock that I have against the game is that there's not an achievement linked to those things.
Yeah,
I
there's
wish
not.
there was, because I kind of went after a high score expecting something to pop, and then went in and checked, and no, there's really nothing there. So the achievement list or trophy list is very, very friendly. Like, it's definitely achievable to get the platinum or 1K. So
In fact, I may download the PS4 version and go for the platinum again.
yeah, it's really good. So I'm enjoying that. I'm jumping back into Forza Horizon 5 quite a bit,
Nice.
and just driving around, listening to podcasts, listening to
I've
the
been
music.
playing Forza Horizon 5 in real life, Sean.
I know you have, and that's a big reason why I jump back. Anytime I see someone with like a sweet car, I'm like, I'm never gonna
How
own that.
sweet it
I'm never
is.
gonna live that
I
life.
found a shop and I took it to, and they were like, "Yeah, to get this thing where you want it, it's gonna be about $9,500." I was like, "Ouch!"
What do I got to sell?
And
Children.
that was
Get
a
to
few
work.
days ago before the water heater went out. So
Oh, of course. That's
Of
so yeah.
course,
That's
of
that's the
course.
way the universe works.
the
Oh
worst.
my gosh. Yeah,
that's how it goes.
I love it, man. Well, it's a great game. I'm enjoying that quite a bit. One of these days, I'm gonna get a steering wheel though.
Did you? Ooh, I don't
I'd like to.
recommend it for Horizon.
I know for this, and that's what's keeping me. But eventually,
Yeah.
Motorsport will come out.
Have you tried any of the new stuff since the update, the new season update? Then they just added like a bunch of new events and all this stuff. And I don't know, is it worth booting it back up for? Or is it just more things on the map?
For me, it's just kind of figuring out what I want to do is to get the season points and get the cars. Those are the rewards. Like for me, I'm approaching my kind of end game for Forza Horizon 5 very simply. And these things are just leading me to buy and try new and weird cars
Sure.
and get rewarded with new stuff. And that seems to be working for me. I don't
I wish
recommend
they
it for everybody.
I wish they had seasonal boards. I wish
Yeah.
like every season,
Yeah.
all of the boards changed.
Yeah,
And they're
that's
like-
a good point.
All of the boards are reset now, and they're all in new different locations. Go
Yeah.
figure it out. I would literally boot that game up every 2 months just to listen to music and go hit board.
Mhm.
The
Yeah.
music in Horizon is always so good.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Yeah, man. So pretty simple right now. Maybe I'll get my Game Boy in pretty quick here, but I feel like I bought Tiny Tina's and played an hour of that and realized, why did I buy that on PC? Things are complicated as hell. Didn't
Really?
run very good. Yeah, it didn't run very good. I had to update my drivers, you guys.
That's it.
I had to
Yeah,
update those
Western
drivers. Mhm.
that's okay. I've got lots to say about Tiny Tina this week. So,
Well, good transition. Haley, what you up to?
so I played a little bit. I jumped back into Assassin's Creed for a bit. I still need to finish Dawn
Valhalla?
of Ragnarok. Yes, yeah.
Nice.
I still need to finish Dawn of Ragnarok, but I jumped in yesterday because I saw that Retta was selling very cool armor pieces at his shop that rotates weekly with like the free currency you can earn in game. So picked up a new gauntlet set for that. Also got a bear that has a unicorn horn and rainbows when you run. Follow it. It's called a Yuta
Nice.
bear, and it's my new mount. It's great. Yeah, and then I've been playing Tiny Tina's, and I am putting out a warning to all our listeners: do not, and I repeat, do not buy the DLC for Tiny Tina's Wonderlands. You can complete it in 10 minutes.
And in that spirit, Sean, don't get the DLC don't try or play the DLC for Life is Strange.
Oh, really? Steph is so cool, though.
Steph
real
is great, but the DLC is boring. It's not worth it.
no, she's so cool.
I hate saying that.
Oh.
It's one of the worst DLCs I've ever.
Yeah.
Wow. Tell me how you really feel.
So the DLC, which I bought the season pass, and you know what? I'll play the forward content. But it's essentially just more of the end game activity with less variety because there's no like debuffs that you can apply to your character. Nice. There's no debuffs that you can apply because like the end game activity in Tiny Tina's is called Chaos Chambers, which is increasingly difficult rotating dungeons that you like portal through. As you increase your level, they get harder. But during your runs, the bad guy who from the game shows up to give you debuffs. You can select medium, easy, or hard depending on what he has. That's not even an option in the DLC. You just run through, complete the mission, and boom, that's it. 10 minutes. The only thing is that every week, and yes, they're time gated. This is real fun. The boss for the DLC gets harder every week for 4 weeks, and that's it. But you can complete it in 10 minutes. It's
That
not
doesn't
worth
sound
it.
fun.
It's not, and I
I
think
look forward to trying this game when it hits Game Pass.
the main game itself, great. The DLC is not. The main game is fantastic. I won't spoil it because I know Sean hasn't started, but like there's missions that are like riffs on The Witcher or riffs on other fantasy type D&D type games. The new overworld feature is pretty cool. You essentially look like Funko Pops when you're on the overworld. It's very interesting. The game runs great. In fact, I didn't even know this when I originally started playing this. I mentioned it on XP, but I'll mention it here. When I had started playing, I switched the game to performance mode. Didn't even realize I'd been playing at 120 frames. The performance mode is 1080, 120. Resolution mode is 4K 60.
Nice.
So I switched that back because I didn't like
As it should be.
Yeah,
Like I like that.
I agree. I remember that conversation from last week on the show.
Mm-hmm.
And then like the gun variety and grenade combos are great. My only issue was, and it got fixed. They fixed it, but the game kept resetting me to chapter 4 every time I booted it up. So I would have to run through chapter 4, and then it would put me to where I was actually at. So I'd go for maybe 2 hours playing a night, make it to like a new spot in the story. I'd quit to the main menu, and I'd not even just quit to the dashboard, but like quit to the main menu so that it saves my progress. As soon as that happens, across the bottom of the screen where it tells you what chapter you're on, it goes to chapter 4. You boot up the game again to like hit play. You push through chapter 4. Hey, you've played some missions before. Do you want to skip those? Click that. It puts you to where you're at. I played chapter 4 20 times.
It's like you're living through Returnal.
I had to literally message 2K support about this and send them video evidence. And they were like, yeah, we'll get this fixed. And now it's fixed. So
there's no way I'm still playing a game like that.
No way.
Like I had 2 nights in a row with Immortals Phoenix Rising where it just like didn't save. And I was out, dude. I still haven't gone back. And I adored that game. That broke my heart to leave that game. There's no way I'm playing the same level 20 times. As Donnie would say, absolutely not.
Yeah,
absolutely not.
But yeah, no. I mean, it's a funny quest. I just turned the dialogue off at a certain point and started playing podcasts.
Probably recited at this point.
The gunplay is just so good.
Yeah.
The marketing for this game, as I said a bunch, looked really fun. Like I wanted to get into it because I've never been into Borderlands, but the more and more I learned about the game, there's a reason I've never been into Borderlands, and I don't think this is the one that's going to change my opinion.
Yeah.
So
yeah. The other thing that I've been playing is I jumped into Dying Light 2 for a bit this morning because the new patch came out. They added an FOV slider to console finally.
Yeah.
Which is nice. And I'm very excited to finish the story and do New Game Plus because I want a weapon you can only get from supporting a certain faction. And I chose to support the other one.
Solid.
Yeah.
Okay. Cool. Well, I wanted to give that a try. Are any of the events or missions like noteworthy?
Well, there's 30 new inhibitors, exclusive to New Game Plus only. Which are the upgrade things you get.
Oh, yeah, no, I saw that. I'm not going to jump in just to max out.
There's new medals you can earn in the like Night Runner activities. Like instead of gold, there's platinum.
I'll wait for the next story expansion.
But there is a new story mission that was added with this patch. It's added to all players. It's added to all players. New enemy types were added as well. And along with New Game Plus, enemy variety at night has been updated. And instead of having to wait for chase levels, volatiles and banshees spawn immediately at night. Like you don't have to wait for a chase. They are just roaming the streets now in New Game Plus, like they were in Dying Light 1.
Yeah, that should make it a little more scarier, which is probably my biggest gripe with the entire game overall, is that it's not scary enough. So that's pretty good.
It's still full price, by the way. Game came out months ago.
I think they said
still full price.
If I remember correctly, they said they shipped 5 million.
5 million.
They did.
That's amazing for them.
Good for them.
That's really good. And as much support as they would give this game going forward, I mean, I wouldn't be surprised to see that number get 5, 10, 12, 15 maybe. And that's really good. That's great. That's great. Okay. Well, I'm excited to get into the news block this week because not only do we have a lot of fun things to talk about, we have new bumpers. It has 2
Yeah.
bumpers.
Oh, I got to get my idea to you. Dang it.
I was set on doing a bumper that was focused around Elaine. Because if you guys didn't know, she made her return to PSVG this past week and she surprise showed up on Shaq. So, without further ado,
do my eyes deceive me? I'm watching Shaq live. Elaine's fucking back after a million years. I got my popcorn. It's 11 p.m., but it doesn't fucking matter. And right now it's not time for Shaq. It's time for PSVG, and it's time for the news. So bring it home, Donnie. Foot stuff. Woo! TPR signing off.
thank you so much, TPR, for the amazing segue. And let's get started this week in the news block with the Steam Deck has been updated. It has improved stability. Where have you heard that before? And battery life. Apparently, they have made changes to how much the battery will draw when it is being idle.
Oh,
yeah. So they've improved the battery life. They've expanded the Type-C. They've expanded compatibility with Type-C docks and SD cards. They've added half-rate shading and uncapped frames to the quick performance menu. So if you want to get into more of that stuff, you can do it faster and easier. They've also added a new lock screen, very Windows of them, more localized keyboards, multiple window switching in tabs and browsers and stuff like that, and an updated achievements page. So Steam Deck continues to get better and better.
Take that, Stadia.
That's right.
Wait, that's what you're going to say, right?
They are crushing. Yeah, that's not even close. Crushing. Diablo Immortal will arrive on June 2nd to iOS and Android, and surprise, open beta on PC the same day with crossplay. Beta signups are live now on battle.net.
Don't you have a PC, Donnie?
I do.
Don't y'all have PCs?
Am I going to be playing Diablo on my controller? Yeah.
Oh my gosh, they fixed it, man. They fixed the meme. They fixed the joke.
They just need to. I wonder if it'll work on Steam Deck. Oh my lord.
Perfect on Steam Deck. This is going to become a thing.
Like if it
Remember,
works
it was
on
a thing on
Deck,
Switch.
Crossplay,
it'll work on it. What do you think it won't?
I definitely think it will.
You have reason to think it won't?
No, I definitely think it will. And I think it's what a journey this game has been on.
Yes.
From completely panned on announcement and booed off stage to now. I mean, the reaction that I was witnessing upon announcement was of excitement. It seemed like a lot of people ready to play some Diablo on their phones. I'm not going to play it on my phone. I won't play games on my phone, but am I going to play on my PC? Yes, I will.
This makes that infamous, like, don't you guys have phones?
That's what I'm saying. Don't you have PCs?
Like that but it makes it so weird. Like they were so dead set on it not coming to like PC or any other market, and then now it is. So it makes the "don't you guys have phones" comment like, ridiculous.
I always think that stuff is so weird anyway, because when you go mobile, there's so many ways to play mobile games on PC just already baked in. And especially if you're doing like anything on Android, and then you've got tablets, you've got Surfaces, you've got like these quasi devices that can do both. And it's like, just put the damn thing on PC, you know, like that's where the majority of gamers play on PC outside of like the mobile market. So like if you're going to support Chromebooks or tablets or Surfaces or iPads, like just put it on PC.
Yeah, it's just when you make the choice of mobile instead of like, I don't think that the fact that this game is also available on phones, it seems like that's kind of, I'm glad because we could easily just maintain mobile game equals bad. But the fact that it's available and we can play it where we actually want to play, and it's Diablo, like let's just remember that it's just going to be a quality experience, I think, from there. And it just took Gears Viking himself to make this happen. This is the difference. They announced it before. Rod Ferguson came on over, and now he came over and he fixed it. He knew he's in touch. He knows what's
spot on analysis. Yeah, and I'm not opposed to phone games. Retro Bowl I played on my phone until it arrived on Switch.
Dude, I spent $15 on Pokemon Go this week.
Yeah, I played Pokemon Unite. I don't want to play on my phone, but if I have to, I will.
Yeah.
But the fact that I don't, I think makes everyone happy, and that's the issue. The problem wasn't that they announced a phone game. The problem is that they announced a phone game in front of non-phone gamers.
Yeah, and nothing else. Like really, that was the thing.
You guys got to read the room a little. show up at the next iPhone conference and be like, Diablo. Huge thunderous applause.
Yeah. Show up at a PC like focused audience and say, hey, here's our new mobile game and only coming to mobile.
Don't show up at QuakeCon and be like, Diablo on your phone.
Yeah.
Nobody wants that. So I'm excited. I'll look into playing it at least a little bit. I'll give it a try. I'm interested in knowing more about its monetization, as always with phone games, but we'll see. Infinity Ward's socials have gone dark, meaning that a Modern Warfare 2 announcement seems imminent, and perhaps something about Warzone 2, as Activision held a investor call this week where they said that a Warzone update will be shown at some point this year. Warzone is also headed to mobile, we learned in that call. This will be a brand new Warzone experience built from the ground up for next-gen consoles and PC. And it's good timing, too, because Call of Duty overall, the entire franchise, so all games, mobile, and everything, has apparently lost about 50 million players from a year ago, which sounds like
50 million.
You're like, oh, my God, what are they going to do? It's good to also point out they still have 100 million people playing in March. Like in March, they have 100 million people playing Call of Duty right now. So
wow.
I don't think it's like, oh, my God, what's wrong with Call of Duty? I think it's Call of Duty needs a shot in the arm. Like Call of Duty needs a new Warzone.
Yeah.
I mean, I was looking, like, I want to personally play through it. I've watched the story, but I'd like to play through it myself. I wanted to play through Vanguard. The PlayStation has their like spring sale on right now, but the only version of Call of Duty offered is the Ultimate Edition, and I don't give two craps about Vanguard's multiplayer, so I don't need the Ultimate Edition.
Yeah. No, I get that. I like Vanguard's campaign quite a bit.
I am so hyped for this new Call of Duty game. I really am. It's like, it's my dark horse pick in all my fantasy critic leagues and everything. People are like, what are you doing? Like, this is Modern Warfare, man. Well, I am telling you guys.
This is cream of the crop. Like, Modern Warfare reboot was so good.
Yes.
I'm with you. This
Yeah.
is near top, if not top of, most anticipated this year.
Yeah.
I forget, did you get the Modern Warfare in the PSVG league, or did Justin?
I'd have to double check that. I'm in like 5 leagues.
I know.
I will double check to see who's. I've got my trophy room versus Xbox one up. I've got it open over here, so I can update you guys in a quick second here. But I'm wondering if Justin gave me
the only league that I'm personally invested into is if you can stick it to Bad Bit.
Oh yeah. Oh man, I fully intend on it. Although I missed on Switch Sports. I did call for that. I thought it was going to do better than it did, and not so much. But you're right. Justy P's got it.
Yeah.
I could have seen that one coming from a mile away. 2022, people are excited about motion sports game. Nah, that's not it.
No, blame Rebecca. She totally sandbagged my whole fantasy pick.
Personally,
gives it a 6 on TwinFit. That thing counts, dude. Her review counts.
Right? Mm-hmm. I
see what she's doing over there.
I'm still very
so am I.
Yeah. But I was saying earlier in Discord to Kevin, he was like, I can't believe there's all this hype about this game. I was like, I'm pretty sure the hype is like 3 people. It's like me and Sean, and Andros. Like, there's no hype for this game everywhere.
Yeah.
Like this,
my kids don't even care.
Yeah, this is just us. There's just very small amount of people that are hyped for this game.
I was like, y'all want to switch sports? I'm like, nah, we cool.
In the same breath, I will not have anyone take my hype away. I will play.
That's right.
Sport.
I would dream of it.
Sean.
Hi, Donnie.
Halo Infinite got a roadmap update this week.
Oh, we're all happy now.
Season 2 starts in May, as we knew. It'll come with 2 multiplayer narrative events, a new Fracture event called Entrenched. We'll get 2 new maps. We will get campaign mission replay in August, campaign co-op in late August, the Forge open beta in September, and season 3 in November, which, if I did not calculate this out, but 6 months.
That's 6 months. 2? Yep. That their first 2 seasons are 6 months long.
Big yikes, right?
Yeah.
Like, it's not
good. Like, the multiplayer wasn't ready to launch, and you can tell.
Yeah, that's not very good.
It's too long.
So the big part of me is I want to ask, because I'm not into Halo, and I always try to preface this because I think it's important to remind people that I'm not into Halo. So maybe I'm missing some excitement. Just none of this sounds very exciting. Like, what's the draw to keep people playing Halo?
Oh, sorry, Sean.
No, go ahead, Haley.
I don't think there is. In fact, I see a lot of people going like another 6-month season. I'm out. Like I see that all over Twitter. I see it all over Reddit too, and not even just in like the Halo subreddit. I mean, like in general, like Xbox subreddit.
I find it strange or like disconnected, I think is a better word. And I don't want to pull the comparison strictly to Fortnite because Fortnite's a monster in its own, but just to use that as a model. When you see what these other free-to-play games do with their battle passes and trying to make them events and eventful and full of stuff, like I don't feel like this is it.
No, I feel like a more apt comparison for
what's
Horizon
the exciting part?
Would be not Horizon, sorry, for like Halo would be with Apex maybe, because Apex doesn't do events as frequently as Fortnite, but they still do like an event maybe once every couple of months along with their battle pass. So like they've got their battle pass, they've got their new seasonal change to whatever the map, like, oh, this bit of the map exploded or something over there is new added to the map. Like they've varietized things to keep people interested, as well as adding new events that have free content and the paid stuff. But I've never seen an Apex season go for 6 months, not even in the first season when the game launched. So I don't know what the draw is there, like you asked.
I have realized through this Halo experience that I don't think that I'm like the battle pass season person. I feel like if there was ever a game that pulled me into this whole side of multiplayer that I have somewhat participated in, never really understood, kind of saw it like here and there and whatever, like this was going to be the one. And I'm like, maybe I just don't want to do this. Maybe I don't want to pay $10 and play to be then on the hook to play a bunch of games to get experience, to get a different color visor or a different hue of armor. Like, I just don't think that's not the reason I play.
I was gonna say, could you still do Halo Saturdays? You can still just play with your friends.
Yeah, we don't get any experience, by the way. Like, people look at me at my record, they're like, why is your level so low? And like, I play almost exclusively custom matches. So like that really doesn't hit for me. But so where I'm at with Halo, when it comes to like the style that I play, which is kind of outside what everybody else is talking about, which is I want different modes and I want different maps. I'm kind of good with how much Fiesta we've played. I'm kind of good with how much Slayer and Team Slayer and all these kind of things. We're looking for something else on that front. We've played the same. If there's 12 maps, we like 8 of them or whatever that is. Like, you get through those pretty dang quickly. It's just like Mario Kart and all the tracks. They desperately needed more, and I feel like Halo, like for me, I'm looking for modes and maps more than seasons. I think we get really hung up on this sort of thing, and sometimes I just want to challenge people a little bit to say, is it really about the new armor that you get, the new, like, whatever your next level gets you another paint job on your gun? Like, is that really what people are playing for?
For me, I would be looking for some sort of, and I realize that I'm on the super minority because, again, to own it, I'm not really that into Halo. So for me, it would be some sort of update, addition to single player content, or a more single player friendly multiplayer mode. A battle royale would definitely have me playing.
Yeah, I mean, I think back to John 32 in the chat says it's a generational divide. I feel like maybe, but speaking of Call of Duty, like Modern Warfare figured this out from day one. Like the original Modern Warfare, when they started, like, you started leveling up and you got different spots and you level up your weapons and you could have a different like add-on to it. So it would give you a bit of an edge. Like, it was more than, like, Halo to me is missing substance, the things that actually matter. And people keep hanging on this, I want a new battle pass. I'm like, I don't want a battle pass. I want to be a better Spartan. I want to have a different character. Like,
you're less about a battle pass.
I
want a reason to go back and play.
Yeah, I mean, your point about Modern Warfare there, Sean, is like, Modern Warfare, the original, was like, they introduced gun camos that you could unlock. They introduced like perk challenges. And in fact, it spawned the infamous meme of the Matrodon meme where like you roast someone and you drop, but like you roast yourself at the same time, and then you show the Call of Duty perk card for the mattress sub, drop a grenade when killed, and it's like
they figured it out, man. And that was 15 years ago.
Yep.
Right. So it's just that makes it even a little bit more embarrassing. But I'm like, I just feel like every time Halo comes up, we keep going, I want a better season. I'm like, you need the entire thing on that front needs to be quite a bit better.
I mean,
Now
they
this is a bunch of negativity. I am a little excited about Last Spartan Standing.
Okay.
That, like I said, I wanted modes. That's a mode that does intrigue me a little bit that I'd like to jump in and try.
I do wish you could pick which mode to jump in for. You're all just thrown into one pool. So
Oh, it's like Splatoon. It's like Nintendo. Like, stop deciding for me what we're playing. Let me just.
Yep. There's no guarantee you're gonna get the mode you want. It's still just like, hey, everyone's thrown into the same pool.
See, that's my me not being much of a multiplayer person. I only play if I'm either playing with friends, which is rare.
Yeah.
Or I play like a single multiplayer experience that I can like participate in. A battle royale. That's the thing about Splatoon. I can help a group of randoms with Splatoon because I know what the hell I'm doing. I'm trying to paint the map. That's why I like battle royale. Is I can play with complete strangers and randos because I know what I'm trying to do. I'm trying to hide and I'm trying to survive to the end.
Yeah.
You know, you throw me in big team battle. I'm like, I don't know what the hell I'm trying to. I'm not nearly as good as everybody else, and I don't know these team tactics, so I don't. Play
I
these
see
games,
what you mean. Yeah.
You know, so having something that I felt like I was more capable to do as a solo player would interest me.
Yeah. Well, and that's the there's so much to the story. Actually, is like are you disappointed with how little there is on the season front? Are you disappointed with how far away co-op is? Are you disappointed about Forge being so far away?
I'm disappointed with how little there's in the season front. I'm disappointed in how little there is, period.
Yeah.
Like this is their second season. It's like I don't want to be they deserve the criticism.
Yeah.
I believe that. I don't want to seem like I'm, inadvertently going out of my way to criticism. It's like, dude, you launched a live service game and your service has been shit.
Yeah.
Like, where are the maps? Where are the modes? Like, what are you doing? And I realize that it's way harder than that. But when you launch, I think Sean and I think we discussed this at one point on maybe Sweet Hangs. I don't remember, but I mentioned to you, I do remember mentioning to you that if you're going to launch a live service multiplayer game, that game shouldn't launch until your content is ready for updates that are following. You shouldn't launch that game and be like, all right, I hope we're ready by season 2.
Yeah.
It's like, no. You should have season 1, maybe season 2 in the bag.
Agreed.
Because when you launch, you got to start working on the next and the next, and like it never ends. So you need to be ahead of that. And maybe that's more optimistic than is realistic.
I also saw a breakdown. I think over in the Game Mess Discord. This is the smallest map rotation for a Halo game ever. At this point, after launch, Halo 5 had 18 maps.
Jeez.
I remember what people had to say about Halo 5.
And Infinite has 12.
Yeah.
I stand by Halo 5. I like that game.
You always have. I respect that with you.
Yep,
and the thing I've always heard about is the multiplayer was excellent.
Yeah. People loved the multiplayer 5. I loved the multiplayer in 5. But campaign? No, I can't. But again, respect your opinion on that show.
Yeah. Anyway.
Yeah.
We've got some MPD updates. Delvin,
excited
to hear about our gross national product.
I'm always excited to hear about
There we go.
billionaires making money.
Xbox was the best-selling platform in dollars for March, as well as the first 3 months of 2022. In addition to that feat, Xbox just recorded its best March ever.
Wow.
Better than 360's Marches, better than Xbox One's Marches, better than Xbox Marches. This is the best March for the Xbox brand that they've ever had. Series consoles are reportedly outpacing the 360s after 17 months by almost 5 million units.
That's crazy.
That is crazy. I agree.
That's
with
crazy.
You. Now, to put in perspective, they're still not on pace with PlayStation 5, but at the same time, honestly, who cares? They're outpacing their best-selling product ever.
Honestly, I feel like that's even more of a compliment to PlayStation. Like, good for them. Like, that brand, it's just I don't think we've really had the ability to put in context of how monstrous PlayStation really is. Just because they've always completely obliterated, it's never been a competition, all this stuff. Like, you just don't really consider how beastly it is. I don't know. Like, when it's just so one-sided, you don't really look at it as that way.
Prerogative that Xbox can match PlayStation in certain markets, but globally, they're not really competitors in like system sales. They're not. They never have been.
Well, and this is like, I wasn't on the show with you guys obviously to talk about it, but when they revealed the new tiers for PS Plus and everything, it's like that's a positional play. Like I think Dev maybe spoke to this as well. Like, this is all they needed to do. They're in first place by a lot.
Yeah.
That's it.
We're gonna get that for now.
Okay.
Okay.
Switch led the way in units sold. Again, I think largely supply. They have supply. Xbox has had pretty good supply. PlayStation has not had very good supply over the first quarter and over March, and I think that shows out in the numbers. Elden Ring takes top spot in games sold in the United States with Gran Turismo 7, which I think had its best launch ever in dollars. Which that's a huge deal.
Crazy how the conversation about that game, and it's still so well because people were upset with that game.
That's a brand, dude. That's exactly along the lines of PlayStation in and of itself. I feel like those go hand in hand. That's a big
Gran
game.
Turismo itself, it always has.
That's what I'm saying.
So Elden Ring takes top spot, Gran Turismo 7 second, then Kirby, the show, Horizon Forbidden West, Pokemon Legends Arceus, WWE cracks in there with Call.
Wait, did you see MLB? Did you say MLB was what, fourth place?
The show was
MLB.
Fourth.
I thought Game Pass killed games. I thought people don't buy games that were on Game Pass.
I think there's just so many PlayStation owners that bought it.
I'm just kidding. Of course,
just outranks it. Oh, I'm joking, but I'm along the same lines.
Dickheads about it all.
Is MLB the show on the Switch?
Yeah, it is.
Yeah.
It's terrible.
Yeah.
That's what I was going to ask. How does it play on there? I'm terrified to find out.
You remember that trailer? Because I was trying to stick up for it. I was like, WWE's been okay. FIFA's
I remember
been okay.
that.
And then they showed the trailer, and I was like, no, it's definitely not okay. It's awful. Don't buy that thing. That's
Probably
real,
like a flip book.
real bad.
I had a moment. I've been hearing a lot about similar comments about Pokemon Arceus and people being really mad about how that game runs and how it looks and everything. And I've been like, I don't know, I like the art style. Like, I know you are. And I've been on like
I watched Jack play, and I'm like, this is a joke.
Back when it came out, maybe there was some sort of weird like veil over my eyes because I fired it back up just this last week.
Entire mountains that pop into the game.
Yeah,
I was shocked. Like I feel like I don't know, like some sort of potion wore off, and I've been watching it
over a cliff, and he starts gliding in entire sections of the map. Not like foliage, landmarks are popping up into place. I'm like,
it's real.
Was this 2007 again? I feel like I'm on my GameCube.
I feel like I'm taking crazy pills.
Oh my lord! And look, I'm very happy that people liked Legends Arceus. I don't think that happiness is like an excuse for them not to be holden to like a better standard. Like this is 2022. The Switch is capable of more than that.
Well, this is why I'm liking. This is why I'm enjoying playing games kind of outside their launch window. Like even just like kind of not by choice, but just this is where I find myself landing. I'm playing Arceus again. Like I played the first few hours, but I'm back at it, and not along with the hype that everybody else had when they were playing it, and that was all the conversation. So I feel like I'm playing it even more truthfully now, or more clear. I'm seeing it more clearly because I don't recall seeing these issues until now. But anyways, I'm just sort of picking out some of the games that you're listening here, Donnie. We don't normally do NPD on the Xbox Drive, so this is fun for me.
It's bad. Legends Arceus is bad. I was so happy to trade that game in. I was so happy to trade. You have no idea when Jack was like, he finally traded, and I was like, let's go.
Skipping all the way to GameStop.
That game does not run well.
It's bad. It is real bad. I very look forward to like Switch 2. There'll be a Legends Arceus like DX release, and everybody look how great it is. Like when it finally runs. Yeah. We've got some PlayStation news from my XP crew, so let's get you guys back in the mix here. VRR arrives on PlayStation 5 this week, and I put in here in parentheses, everyone but Dev is hyped. And of course, Spider-Man already has patches. I have had so much fun teasing Dev about this in the Discord, Sean. If you missed it, leading up to this news, if you followed Dev, honestly, for like the better part of a year, but really since VR announcement was like forthcoming, Dev has really been taking the line like, do we even need it? It's been, and he says it's like I'll let him defend himself. He's not here to defend himself.
No,
so
I'll
just take it. I take his comments in the vein of Xbox needs VRR because they're the ones having screen tearing issues. That's like the vein that he's like, does PlayStation even need it? Who's got screen tearing? I don't have screen tearing.
Who needs quick resume? We got a super fast SSD.
Exactly. Mm-hmm. So he's been saying that stuff. Then VRR comes out. It's awesome. Of course it is, because we've known it's awesome for 2 years. Dev's posting videos of how great it is.
I
look at VRR.
Fucking laughed. I laughed this morning when you were chirping him. I was like, oh my god.
Yeah, because I posted, I was like, here's Dev. You're also Dev.
Yeah. And he's in the chat lying right now too.
So yes, VRR is out on PS5. Congrats, everybody! Enjoy how great VRR is, especially at higher frame rates. You have to have a TV that can take advantage of it. And I think that in defense of Dev, he's always been saying like, is this necessary? Is it essential? Is this a reason people should be upset? And I think the reason is, I understand what he's saying. There's probably not enough people out there whining about it, but you got to remember that there's got to be enough people buying new displays.
Yep.
You got an old TV, you don't care, you're not going to notice, like that's not a thing, but everybody that's buying a new TV, they do want it. Like if I bought a $2,000 TV, yeah, I want my PlayStation 5 to do the thing.
You can say that about any one of these next gen display upgrades, 120
Exactly.
hertz, like all the
Exactly.
whatever. Like this is just added on to the pile of enhancements. Yeah. That apply to only some displays.
I mean, the only game I've launched really since the VR update, which by the way wasn't even a patch. Like they made it sound like it was going to be an additional patch. It just appeared in the video thing like last night around 8 o'clock. Like
I wonder if they was probably already patched him before.
Yeah, and then it just went live or whatnot. Like it just showed up in the video, so I clicked it on. The only thing I've really like played extensively with it so far on is Valhalla, and seems to run better. So
Dev's still here, and he couldn't make the show. He's still here. It's an hour strong.
He's apparently bathing those kids.
We still got him. We still got him, guys.
Who hasn't been bathing the kids while having like a little Bluetooth earbud in their ear just to stay in touch? You know what I'm saying? Mm-hmm.
Dev's hyped, guys. Dev is hyped. He's driving the VRR bandwagon. You would think for somebody so hyped for VRR, you'd have a Series X by now. Just saying. PlayStation has seemingly hired a senior director of PC planning and strategy, as well as a preservation team. Also, everyone hyped, but Dev. Delvin,
who wants to play old games?
Yeah,
I do. I bought a PS3 and a PS2 just to play old games. So I don't. This could be cool. Just depends on what they do with it, because Sony has a habit of just doing shit, just to be doing shit, and nothing comes from it. Like they'll buy some stuff and have things out there, and you never hear nothing about it again.
Yeah, that's true. I'm very excited for the preservation team. If there's one thing that would really get me back into hardware, would be a really strong backwards compatibility program. If they would line that up and bring it like Xbox brought it, that'd get me back into some
especially with the PS3 games, because it seems like those are just, it's over. We can't figure this out, and we're not going to try.
I literally love every time someone's like, Sony should be actually I'm going to name someone. Chris McCracken over in MTTG land, always going on about how they should be able to get this down. They should get this down and be able to have emulated PS3 on the console. And I'm just
They should.
I agree. But at this point, if they haven't figured it out, they're not going to. They don't want to.
No, it's not that they haven't figured it out. It's that they don't want to. They're not trying. They don't think there's the money's worth it. We've figured out my Steam Deck plays PS3.
Yeah,
games.
I was going to say that.
I remember you
figured it out.
it.
Like we have PS3 emulation.
And people with far less money have figured it out.
Yeah,
they're trying to figure out how to monetize it in a way that makes sense.
Yeah, which is why when I mentioned that they haven't figured it out, I'm specifically referring to Sony. I've seen other people. I've even seen an emulator run on the PC for it.
They run
but
pretty
Sony
good,
doesn't
too.
care. Yeah.
And they run pretty good. So that's excited. I'm excited about the preservation team, and hopefully the PC planning means that we'll get more sooner PlayStation ports. Looks like Uncharted's coming in June to PC.
Is that the whole collection?
The Drake collection.
That
just released.
Nice.
Yeah, so it's not the the Uncharted collection that came out on PS4.
Is it just Lost Legacy?
It's just 4 and Lost Legacy.
Okay.
So it is 4. Oh.
Yeah, it's what they just released.
Okay.
Which I'm a sucker, and I will totally rebuy because I don't have PlayStation anymore. So I will totally rebuy it and then play it on my PC. Sounds great. So I'll do it. Let's see here. We've got more Sony stuff. This one's interesting. Do you guys want to talk about? All right, XP crew. Do you guys want to talk about the demos first, or do you want to talk about PlayStation and their stopping the Stacks subscription stuff first?
Stacks.
All right. So PlayStation has reportedly stopped allowing customers to stack subscriptions. This is reportedly because they haven't officially said any statement on this. This is all coming hearsay from consumers who are trying to claim codes for PlayStation Now and PlayStation Plus, and they're being told that they can't. And when they're contacting customer service, they're like, yeah, we've stopped letting you guys do this. And they're saying they'll let them do it later. There's no, like, this is exactly when or why, and they didn't tell anybody that they couldn't. And obviously what this is they're trying to limit the amount of people that are buying up codes before they push this new tier so they can push people into subscribing to the higher price tiers. Like we've seen a run on all PlayStation Plus and PlayStation Now codes ever since they've made their announcements, especially as they've made their announcements on how their conversions are going to work.
Yeah.
Like, they're going to honor your subscription to the end. So there are people like, I'll just
honor this
4 of these $60 codes and be set for 4 years. And PlayStation's like, not so fast. They just unplugged it. As I said, and as the episode this week is aptly named, they fixed the glitch. This is so Office Spacey. If you guys have never seen him, and this is exactly what's happening. Like we just fixed the glitch. I could see somebody at Sony sitting back, just we did it, guys.
Dick move. Dick move.
It's not great. I don't think it's awful. I understand they're well within their right and their prerogative to do it. You can't do this at this level if you don't at least, in my opinion, if you don't at least put it in an FAQ, put out a tweet, put out a blog, like just you got to give people a chance not to do it. Like you got to tell them.
You can't
If
just...
the shit was reversed, if Xbox did this and all of a sudden you couldn't claim Game Pass codes, people would be so furious that they would immediately roll that back. Like there's no way Xbox would get away with that.
And again, like you're right, it is their prerogative to do it. But to just do it like sneak thief style and not
do it in the middle of the night.
Fucking thing.
Turn
it off in the middle of the fucking night. Just
when they announced the tiers and they did the FAQ, they should have just simply said, you can stack codes until this date, and then we will pause it until further notice or something. And they did none of that. They just turned it off.
Truthfully speaking, this is par for course for Sony. Sony's always doing stupid shit like this.
Yep.
All the time, and they just get a pass because they're Sony, they're the market leader, whatnot. They're always doing this type of shit, and everybody just ignores it. But and like you said, and this comes from a Sony person. If Xbox were to do this same shit, people would be livid about it,
dude. There'd be blood in the streets. This would never go down.
Good example is the increased Xbox Live. Everybody got
but this would be worse than that.
Far worse.
Far worse.
The biggest difference is when Sony does it, they do it and they say we don't care.
They didn't say anything. That's the thing.
They didn't say it.
The thing is that we had to find this out from people who already bought codes that they can't claim them, and I think that's the difference. We argued about this a bit today in Discord with Dev, and the biggest difference is so Dev was like, they can just claim them later. That's fine, but these are people's hard-earned money.
Yeah.
To me, honestly, I think it comes off, as I said, I think it comes off as cheap.
Yeah.
I look at PlayStation, I'm like, they're leaving dollars on the table chasing pennies. Like if you can lock in people to subscribe for years in advance, even at a discount, lock them in. You'll make so much more money down the road by just knowing that they're there. You'll market how many people are subscribed. You'll talk about how great it is. Like, why fight somebody over $8, $16, like whatever the difference is? Like, what are you doing?
I mean, similar thing. Like, obviously, everybody. This is a tangent, small one, but it makes sense in reference to like this, like leaving money on the table thing. So for reference, DC's comic book app, where you can like download comic books to your phone and read them, just launched in Canada and a bunch of other markets. It used to be US exclusive, and it used to be part of their streaming service. Anyways, they had a discounted price for an entire month. They weren't upset about leaving money on the table, and they're a struggling company. They literally had a $30 discount on their subscription price for a year. If you locked yourself in now, and you could stack that, because that price is grandfathered. You get the discounted price, you keep it until you unsubscribe. Like, lock them in.
YouTube's done the same thing, YouTube Music, but I mean, I'm not even worried about the locked in. Like, just the fact that they can't use it, they can't claim it when they've already parted ways with their money.
Yeah,
that's their hard-earned money.
Dev in the chat.
That is now in a losable form. Like, you can definitely misplace it, forget that you have it. Dev
says, it's not even just that. that's money they could have spent on anything else until June or July or whenever.
Right.
That's not cool. That's just not cool. Nobody.
Devin the Chess says they're already
would
locked in. They bought them codes, and it's like this is the position play I keep talking about with PlayStation. I'm glad Delvin jumped in and said what he said, because if I say it first, it's an X bot or whatever.
I
And
mean,
it's like,
I
no,
agree
this
with
is
Delvin.
this is
It's
absolute
100% true.
it totally is. It's absolute trash. And it's an interesting thing because I think it's just another way for Xbox to just go like, they kind of sit back and go like, look at us. You can say how many years you got Game Pass for, Donnie?
I'm through like 2027.
I'm 27. Well, I mean, whatever the hell the maximum is at this point, like whatever the
Yeah,
default
it's
is.
a 3-year max, but I think I have another almost 3 years in codes.
So it's the long game versus the short game. Like, what's really going to pay off? And I don't know that we've necessarily seen, I think to your point earlier, it's probably more of a supply issue that's benefiting Xbox in terms of market share and units sold and things like that. But you start to add these things up. Like the Xbox is letting them do this thing, and PlayStation's not letting them do it. You can buy an Xbox, you can't find a PlayStation. Like all these things start to kind of chip away at that market leader.
Share games on PlayStation.
Yeah.
Exactly. And it's just
leads up to something like that.
Yeah. And it's just to say, PlayStation still has great games. It's still an awesome place to play.
Yeah,
It's got a great OS, the awesome controller. Like, there's nothing. I'm not taking away from the value of PlayStation, but you're right. Like, this is a miss. It's an unforced error. They don't have to do this. And the people who are stoked to stack up on that much and throw you that much money, treat those people well. They're the ones who will. Carry your message.
You just want to wrap your arms around those people.
Thank you.
Buy, baby, buy. Buy as many.
Dev has zero sympathy. I'm not surprised. I have no doubt that you have no sympathy for anybody else. Like, I know that already. That's why I was mad at you guys the last show or whatever it was 2 weeks ago. I understand. That's the point that I was mad about.
Okay, so let's transition here a little bit because this came out today. This is from developers speaking anonymously to multiple sources, Bloomberg and Kotaku mostly. Sony will apparently is asking developers, or mandating possibly, to build limited time demos for PlayStation Plus premium subscribers. They're asking these developers to create limited time demos for all games that are over $34 that are not VR titles. The trials must be at least 2 hours. They must be available within 3 months of release, and they must be available for at least a year. This story broke yesterday, I believe, and Kotaku updated today, saying that the PlayStation Store team will create the 2-hour time trials for developers, so it won't be on them to create them. However, these developers aren't exactly kosher with Sony monetizing their demos as a perk and to sell the subscriptions. They're not sharing that revenue with the developers, which feels like a very fair thing to say. Todd Oxtra asks, is the noise behind the PlayStation Plus time demos a big deal or just more Twitter fodder?
No, it's a big deal.
It's a good question. My personal take on it is I love the idea of demos coming back or trials. I think that's great. I've always said for a long time, I think every game should come with some sort of limited trial. I think especially if you do not have an automatic refund process, as we know, PlayStation doesn't. So I think that helps that. But I can't give them a whole lot of credit in that realm because they're not doing it system-wide. They're doing it specifically to a premium subscription plan, which means that they're monetizing this feature.
And by premium, they do mean the highest tier. So
the highest tier.
For Sean
so like if they were doing it across the store, I would actually be very supportive of it. I'd be like, you know what? It's their store. It's a good thing. You just got to deal with the developers. Get over it. But the fact that you're paying us extra for this feature, that's where it starts to rub a little raw. It's like, well, that's not cool because then it's not for the consumer, and the developers are also not making money. Yeah, allegedly.
So for Sean and I to have access to these yearly, it's $173 for us.
Yeah,
to have access to these demos. That's oh boy. Demos should just be available
because we basically, like on Steam and on Xbox, we have you can play for 2 hours.
Mm-hmm.
Yep.
It's basically a demo. Like we have a trial of everything, you get a refund.
So I saw this news and I tweeted out. I almost immediately deleted it because I was going to counter my own argument and I just didn't want to deal with that kind of crap. But I'm
Life
like,
is a talking head.
What is? Yeah, I mean, this is me. I'm spinning around in my own brain a little bit. Sometimes I trip over myself. But that was my first reaction was, why is this different from the return policy that Xbox has? And immediately my counter argument was, well, you don't have to pay for a trial. There's no barrier to entry. You just download. You don't have to have a credit card. Like it's much more accessible. But it's then like my counter argument is like you still do kind of have to pay for it. To Haley's point, like you do have to pay $180 in our case. What was it? 100? Like I don't even. Like,
$173.99.
That's not nothing. That's not nothing. So I'd rather just
2-hour demo.
It's a Band-Aid on top of a Band-Aid on top of it. Like just stitch the cut. Get a refund policy.
See, if they said this, if they're like, look, we're not going to do a refund policy, but we're going to do this, I'd be like, that's great. But they're not
for everyone.
That. They are making this just a little perk of their subscription plan. It's like, well, now you're monetizing it. Well, then now the developers deserve a cut.
Yeah.
They deserve
Agreed.
a cut.
Yeah.
And they're like, well, we're doing it. Doesn't matter. It's their content.
For all games. It's not even games that are like falling under the like the subscription. I mean, it wouldn't make any sense if it was games that fall under the subscription.
Just PlayStation Now or Plus games. It's all games.
And that wouldn't make any sense. Like you have access, so why would you need a trial? Like that's
exactly.
Like why it's so complicated? Why?
An hour ago, back when we were going to postpone the show, I was actually really hoping that we would maybe get more clarification over this the next day or two.
Yeah.
Because everything right now is reportedly, allegedly. I don't want to go too hard on it, but I mean, if this is exactly what they're doing, this is something that I would want to go hard on because I don't think this is really cool.
No, this isn't fair either. I've also seen, and it's good that like it's come out that like the store would be on it. But yesterday,
I think that's why it's coming out too. Why are people speaking honestly? Because they're not happy.
Oh yeah, but also like when this broke yesterday, before we had the clarification about the store today, people were concerned about crunch too, because if the developers had to do this on top of the regular work, creates a crunch situation.
It does.
I have to be.
Games just hurts.
Yes.
Like, what if your game's like 4 hours long and they just give away 2 hours of your damn game?
Or in the case of like indie games where the game's 2 hours long and then people beat it and refund it on Steam. I've seen that 100 times.
And there was language in the original reports that it would be like a pick and choose type thing, so maybe they would make an exception for shorter games. Yeah, I don't want to go too hard on that.
What if you ever get to a stage where you have games that are supposed to come out Switch, Xbox, PC, and PlayStation, and the PlayStation version comes out later because they got to get that dang trial done. So they said
that the trial could come out within 3 months of release. So it wouldn't have to be their day and date.
Oh, okay. Yeah, that's interesting. I mean,
I don't want to rail it because it's not very different than like EA access, right? EA Play. You get trials. There's 10 hours, but you get trials ahead of the game and stuff. Like I don't want to. Like I like the idea. Like I actually on paper I like the idea. I just do it system wide and there's no issue.
Yeah, the thing with EA Play though is that like it's not forcing someone to create a specific demo. With the EA Play, you have access to the whole game, but you only have it for 10 hours.
But isn't that basically what PlayStation has done with their early access or their time trials on their games, like with Little Big Planet and stuff?
Yes and no, because the timer starts when you hit the download button.
I'm aware of that issue, but it is a timer. Like you could, like theoretically, you could play as much of Little Big Planet in that timer as possible.
Yeah,
they didn't create a specific slice for it. So
EA they did. Like you can only get so far. For example, in like the story campaigns in FIFA or Madden, like it was cut off at a certain point. You'd spend the rest of your time playing multiplayer or whatever.
Yeah, and F1 did the same, or they stopped you at a certain point. So you're right, because I could only play the exhibition trial of F1 2021 for like I could only play a certain amount of races, like 3 tracks. I couldn't do more. Good point.
Yeah. But also, like this rumor was like talking about creating a specific slice for a demo, like not just the EA Play. Like, hey, here's a timer. But you also wonder most of the game.
How does another dev feel about PlayStation taking their content and creating a trial or a demo?
That's the crux of it.
Yeah, they probably don't like that either.
No, I don't think so.
They're like, we'll choose what we want to allow people to.
This could hurt partnership deals. I think. I honestly think this could hurt partnerships with Sony if they go forward with this. Like, if you're taking another developer, and I'm just gonna throw a random one out, take a Capcom game and make a slice out of it, and you're not sharing that revenue with Capcom. Capcom's not gonna be happy with you.
Especially, like, I wonder if they're going. I want to give PlayStation honestly all the benefit of the doubt here. They would have to at least share statistics.
Yeah.
Because, like, what if they see the statistics? What if they're like, look, the trial was downloaded 100 million times, but we only sold 8 million games. This is hurting our business. Like, that's got to be a problem.
Yep.
How many more Lauren Lanning stories come out?
Oh, good.
Lauren Lanning though.
I
Lauren
hate that you
Lanning-
brought that up, but good pull.
I mean, it just sounds the same. It just sounds similar. And I agree with you. I think there's a lot to be said about that, but that probably has already been
The
said.
Lauren Lanning thing is just like, I mean, you didn't have to launch your game day.
Hey, I agree with you.
in PlayStation Plus. That's on you, man. Sony paid you money for that. But
Yeah, you got paid.
then you can't come out and be like,
yeah, this trial is a whole separate thing.
I understand that. What the point?
Downloads.
The point I'm trying to make is you have one story and then another story and then a third story, and all of a sudden, whether or not it's like they're in their right, if they're right to say that, or if that's the opinion, it's like suddenly there's a narrative. Suddenly there's a thing that making games for PlayStation doesn't quite pay off in the way that it does. The deals with PlayStation isn't quite as good. Like, it actually, you get so far away from the actual point of it, which is my frustration, and probably even Luke's frustration with the coverage on the actual conversation. It's just like the headline was deals with PlayStation Plus were devastating. And it's like, let's look at, this is why podcasts are so important. Donnie, you and I talk about this so much, but to the point about what is the catchy headline, the tweet is, this is bad for devs. They're going to choose to go somewhere else, and bad for PlayStation equals dead. Like, it's not rocket science. We've been here before. We've seen simple things that there's a half truth to it, get totally carried away, and suddenly Xbox is dead and PS4 runs away with the gen.
Yeah, and I want to be clear. On the face value, I actually really like the idea. It's something I've said this a billion times before. It's something I think all digital storefronts, honestly, I think they owe it to the consumer.
Agreed.
I've had a lot of pushback against that. I've had a lot of people like, no, I disagree. I think everybody should have some sort of trial or time demo for their games in a digital storefront, because you can't take it back at brick and mortar like you can a physical disc. There's no traded value.
But if they're going to lock this behind some sort of premium thing, I think they could stepstone this a little bit. Like, start with the first party stuff, maybe then extend to whatever the partnerships are. So like when you're a premium whatever tier person, you get all the first party stuff. Can be, if it's not already part of the service, you get a trial. Yeah, maybe that's the version of day and date stuff that you get instead of getting a full first party game like Xbox Game Pass. You get the trial. That's pretty decent. And then they can use that to go, this works, third parties, you should do this as well. It's more an encouraging thing and more of a pull than a push over the edge.
Yep, exactly. But as Delvin said, when you're the cock of the walk, you do what you want.
You do what you want.
It's so stupid that Sony just doesn't communicate either. Like,
we have a bunch of questions and I want to get to them, so let's move let me hit these quick hitters. Ubisoft could be the next acquisition target according to Kotaku and Bloomberg. Does anybody have any big, profound things they want to say about this?
Elon Musk is going to buy them and make it exclusive to Tesla cars.
Oh God!
And then he's going to change his mind at the end.
Yeah, I'm so tired of.
What do you mean change his mind? He didn't change his mind. He bought Twitter. What are you talking about?
No, he changed. Yeah,
they're saying he's changing his mind.
They're saying he's changing his
mind.
Well,
I've heard. I don't want to go too far down this topic, but I've heard that he's not exactly as liquid as people think.
Yep.
And that the purchase might be very difficult for him to pull off.
Also,
because essentially what he would have to do is he would have to borrow against his shares and equity and other stakes, and then that would piss off his board and shareholders and other stakes.
Already did. Tesla shares started dropping, and
he would have to ruin Tesla's value to buy Twitter.
Yeah,
that's what I've heard.
So
I don't think he's changed his mind as much as I think Twitter's called his bluff.
Yeah.
But
also,
wow,
on the Ubisoft front, bring it back to gaming. I know the hot take is to wonder if Xbox or PlayStation is gonna buy them. I've been thinking about this a long time. For a long time, I've actually thought PlayStation should be interested in Ubisoft, specifically because of the price. But the harder problem is that Ubisoft has like 25 studios in like 35 different countries.
Yep.
That is a monumental effort to bring under any sort of management.
Yes.
So if I were to bet, I would bet a publisher probably wouldn't be as interested as Ubisoft would want them to be. I would think a third party would probably look at their amount of talent as well as their ability. I do think, I've said this a bunch, I think Ubisoft's the best developer in the world at getting multiple studios to work on one project.
Yep.
There's nobody better. They have like nailed management sharing and asset and tool sharing better than anybody else. They have people from all across the globe work on one Assassin's Creed game, and it's really good. Like nobody else has seemed to really crack that nut. So I think that would be very appealing to somebody like Take-Two or EA. Like somebody like that would be like, God, if we could do that, that would be great. I'm not going to say that PlayStation or Xbox wouldn't be interested. I would be shocked if Xbox put in a serious bid for them, to be honest.
I would be shocked, but only because Microsoft still needs and obviously again I think the Activision deal is going to go through, but they need that to finish before any of their other
I agree with you, but even
acquisitions.
outside of the speculation about the deal, I think they have a monumental task ahead of them to just incorporate Activision.
Yeah.
To then try and throw all of Ubisoft's entire ginormous studios in, like, it just seems unbelievable. Maybe they can. I mean, money can do everything, but that just, to me, honestly, I just think it seems just not possible.
I think PlayStation could make a bid, but
Honestly,
honestly, I wouldn't be surprised to see Tencent or like Epic.
They go from a company, yeah, that's what I'm thinking. Epic. Like you go from a company, like if you're thinking about for Xbox, you go from a company you have like 8 studios, all of a sudden you're trying to manage 48 studios. Like that doesn't make any sense.
Epic seems like a good spot for it.
Yeah, like I think a third-party publisher probably has more money. Like they probably value, or honestly, outside of gaming, you just have a corporate entity that has a lot of money that they just.
What about Amazon?
Stash. Yeah, like something like that. Well, I don't want to say Amazon them specifically, but some ginormous conglomerate that can just bring them in, take their percentage off the top, and let Ubisoft be Ubisoft. I can see that happening.
Meta.
Yeah.
Oh God, no! Please, I don't want a Facebook login.
This is the thing. You go through the list of suitors, man, and you go, yeah, nobody likes Microsoft buying everything up, but you go, well, Tencent doesn't sound very
better
good.
Than Google.
Neither does Google. Neither does Amazon. Like, I mean,
well, here's, as I've often brought up with the mergers and acquisitions, Ubisoft doesn't make nearly as much money as people think they do. They have this,
and they're certainly not now.
Well, they have this prestige of being, and they've earned it. I'm not saying it's wrong, but I think in the gamer's mind, they think of Ubisoft like they think of Activision or Take-Two, and they're not remotely the same. Ubisoft's earnings are significantly lower than Activision.
Yes.
like they're not even. Ubisoft would kill for a Warzone. They would kill for a Warzone.
They've been trying, and they've launched like 4 free-to-play games, and all of them are dead.
Yeah. And I say that, I hope listeners of our show know, I say that as I think a very stout Ubisoft. I love Ubisoft. My favorite developers. I love all their games. Wherever they go, I will make sure that I have a platform that has access to it. So I'm not trying to say that. I'm just speaking real talk. Like their earnings are significant. Even during the pandemic where everybody's boat raised, Ubisoft was kind of stagnant.
Yep.
Like it jumped a little, but not nearly as much as everybody else's. So, like I think Ubisoft is right for target because they've got a ton of talent, they have a ton of employees, but at the same time, like Activision, they've kind of bled the stone. Now's the right time for them to probably sell because, to be honest with you, the next 10 years outlook probably doesn't look like they're going to make more money. If anything, they're going to make the same amount of money or probably less.
It seems like they're motivated in a different way, though. It seems like when they were in their best years, say last gen, they were fighting off an acquisition. They didn't want to have to be bought by Vivendi. And they won that battle, and it's kind of like they ran out of gas a little bit, or they didn't have a new mission to chase after anymore. So they they would repeat some of these games. People had their perception of it. Now I think it's actually if anybody's going to be buying it, you're best off to wait, because I feel like the value is only going down. Like if you bought it today, you'd get a better deal tomorrow, kind of a thing.
Which is why they want to sell now.
Yep.
Right. Yeah. Exactly.
Yep.
And I think that's why I can see somebody like an Amazon or a Meta trying to scoop them up because they're trying to get the video.
I honestly think it's going to be like, some stockbroker holders incorporated in Sons or whatever. Like it's gonna be somebody. I wonder if it's gonna be somebody we don't even know. Like it's just this investor group that makes.
What if it was like Disney? What if Disney goes, "This is it. This is it." But I feel like they've already answered. They've already come up with their solution to games. Like, I think everybody's kind of happy with it.
Games and
I really like Ubisoft's merging with EA. I think that would make a really, really strong company.
I agree.
I think that would be a really great fit.
That would be cool.
I would like to see it. I don't think it will, but That'd
I
be
mean,
one
if
merger I'd
that
be
happened,
excited
at
for.
least it would take care of the terrible Uplay launcher.
Yeah, good point. I would be excited for that. I'd be a little worried of downsizing, but I think Ubisoft's probably ripe for some downsizing. They probably need to be trimmed a bit. But their IPs with some of their studios
So deep.
would be very good in EA's
Oh, yeah.
kind of wheelhouse.
And that's the thing that I get kind of, if there's one thing I get scared about is the downsizing when you start to collapse some of these companies into one another. It's like you actually have less
But
to
Ubisoft's huge. It's not like everybody else. They're ginormous.
I know that, but that's why I think the assumption is there that if they were to be absorbed by even Microsoft, it's like you're cutting down the team size. Right. So then you have fewer teams, you have less people working on this stuff. So how many games are they going to be able to push out? Then you've got this back catalog of IP. Same thing with like Rare. You know, you got all this stuff, and it's like you can't do anything with it. And it's
I think that's the issue that they're running into. I think that's why we're hearing about Far Cry Live Service and Assassin's Creed Infinite, because they're starting to be like, what next?
I know, but like
we can't keep making these 400-hour epic games.
But, I know. It feels like an end game, and it's like I don't want to be at the end game yet. Keep going. Yeah,
I want the 400-hour epic. I'm with you. I want Ubisoft to keep doing what they've been doing. Stop trying to change it. Keep doing.
I literally loaded up Valhalla this morning. It says I have 200 hours in Valhalla.
Nothing would make me happier if Phil Spencer was like, "We bought Ubisoft, and we're going to pay them to keep doing what they're doing." That'd be great. Like for Game Pass, perfect. It sounds amazing, but I just don't think it's gonna happen.
Also, on that note of the Game Pass thing, I saw, and I think he was joking, and I'm pretty sure he was. TPR, when this came up in the Discord, made a very good point that like, well, if Sony bought them, they'd go exclusive. I honestly don't think so because here's why I don't think they would. One of the things that makes Ubisoft money is their UB Plus subscription, which is available on PC.
Yeah, I think they'd probably still support PC, but outside of that, they'd probably.
Don't get me wrong, but I'm saying like they wouldn't go fully exclusive. They'd still be available on PC because of UB Plus. Because I
honestly think, just like I said for Xbox, I honestly think it'd be a very heavy lift for PlayStation Incorporated. I honestly think for most publishers, it's an underestimated heavy lift. How hard it is to bring in that many development teams across that many countries into your operation. But huge.
There has to be some sort of focus. Like I don't want to be totally doomsday about all this stuff. Like Ubisoft has been credited for being there on day one for every console that has ever come out, and like that's awesome that they're the ones that do that. But when it's not working, then suddenly you're not quite as productive. Like it's a risk reward thing. Mm-hmm. So they kind of banked a bit on Stadia. They were going to be there. They were there for Wii U at the start. Obviously, examples where it didn't really work out, but I don't know. Like maybe some focus.
Still maybe pushes Stadia.
Yeah, I know. Like so maybe just trim some of the fat a little bit. Focus up a little bit.
I've wanted to subscribe to UB Plus, but as I've said before, like I played my original Ragnarok on UB Plus, and then I canceled my subscription. You know why? Because 30 days later, I could just buy the entire expansion for $30 instead of subscribing.
Hey, Donnie, while you're at it, you may want to set your Steam Deck new beta update for refresh rate between 40 and 60.
Nice. I will definitely do that. Okay, we've got questions. I'm going to save the Ghost of Tsushima question until Dev's here because I feel like he'd want to be on that one. So let's move with the next one. Hobik, when a story-heavy game that you already know you're interested in is soon to be released, do you skip all the pre-release material to save yourself for the game? Or would you rather be involved in the pre-release hype and speculation?
So it depends on what type of narrative game. If it's Life is Strange, I go dark. If it's something like Saints Row, for example, I'm all in. Like I'm all in on the conversation. If it's like Grand Theft Auto, I'm all in on the conversation. If it's something like The Quarry, which that news story today was wow. If it's something like The Quarry, I try to go dark.
I generally go dark, period. Like if I'm interested in a story or characters, I don't want to know anything about it until I play it.
I'm just saying, once I see that first introduction trailer and it's something I really like, just give me the release date. I don't want to hear nothing else.
I'm not too worried about like spoilers, and we talked about in the last couple episodes. Like I'm not too worried. Like if I see something, I'll see it. I'm not like going on my way to mute stuff unless it's like in my face about it. But like I'm more like I just generally just stop. I don't watch trailers. I just stop paying attention, and then I'm like I'll just experience it when I play it. But it's weird because it's only for games that I'm in on. if there's a game that I'm not like all in on, then I do start consuming some of that because I'm
I
like,
do the same for that.
I'm wondering if this is for me. So it's almost like games that I'm iffy on get more of my attention than games that I'm sold on.
Well,
Oh,
which
yeah.
makes
Like if there's a game that I'm sold on, I'm almost less educated in that than there's something I'm probably not even intending on buying.
Well, that
Because I'm
makes
just
sense.
wanting to know more about it.
Because you're wanting to gauge your interest. It's that's like me. Like, I played the Outriders demo. Like, for example, like last week, the Outriders expansion got extended. I played the Outriders demo. Wasn't interested. The new content that's come with this expansion looks exciting. I'm trying to follow that, see if it's something I want to buy.
Nice. Sean?
I didn't even know the character's name in Life is Strange that I'm playing right now. Like I knew zero. I didn't even know the power. Like, I mean, you kind of like alluded to a little bit when you're talking about it, Donnie, but like I knew very little. I definitely prefer to go in.
He says even Zelda games. Yeah. No, I definitely watched like that main trailer for Zelda Breath of the Wild. But you know, like I have not dove in to all of the theories and conspiracies that have come up from the Zion or who all. I never remember the name of the people that Rebecca always says, whatever they're called.
know.
I've never looked into any of that. I don't care about any of it. I'll just play it. So I don't know. I take it Donnie is sold on Xenoblade 3. It's definitely not.
Yeah,
No,
you're not consuming any of the content, so
I will
sold
consume
day one.
no content of that
Day
at all.
one.
Nope, not even day 101. Day 1001.
Donnie's just like Xenoblade? No, I'm out.
I've checked out Xenoblade completely. From beating the first game to almost beating the second game to never beating third. Like, yeah, no, I'm just out. I've just quit. I've quit.
Yep,
I've given up.
Fair enough.
Chalfie, Delvin's
Yeah.
favorite person to write into the show. He says he's got 2 questions for the show, Delvin. Off last week's heat. this motherfucker. Which movie should we turn into a video game next? Anybody got any answers?
Just open-ended? Which?
Yeah, that's the first question.
Infamous.
Which video game should be turned into a movie next?
Infamous.
Oh, that's a good answer.
I'm down for an Infamous movie. Sure.
That's a good answer. Oh.
I've always wanted a Gears movie.
We're getting one.
Oh, yeah.
Easy.
Very Terminator-like. Yeah.
Oh, speaking of that, did you see the Scott Pilgrim thing you were talking about last week?
I thought you told me that there was animation. I think in the back of my mind I had heard that was a thing, but until it shows up, it's not real.
That's fair.
Yeah.
Animal Crossing.
You want an Animal Crossing movie?
Make an Animal Crossing movie. Go all kitty with it. Make it.
I hate you for even speaking this into existence.
You just go into the theater and you never come out. You come out 800 hours later, and you judge anybody who comes out after 100 hours. You're like, 100 hours?
That's all you do.
I watched the Batman this weekend. You guys watch it yet?
Oh, that's where I wanted to go with my answer. Actually,
I love the Batman.
Yeah, I love it.
I don't like it that much.
Oh, Donnie, no, you're wrong.
Well, got announced yesterday.
Yes, I enjoyed it. I thought it was good.
It's not bad. It's just not nearly any of my.
No, it isn't bad. You're right.
It's my favorite Batman movie.
I'm saying it's not bad. I didn't mind it, but it wasn't nearly my favorite. Any of my favorite Batmans, by any means.
I'm so excited for the sequel that got announced yesterday.
That doesn't surprise me at all. Haley being excited for it doesn't surprise me at all. But it was really funny because when Robert Pattinson was announced for Batman, Kyle was like, he's done a lot of these other movies because everybody went to the Twilight stuff. And
Lighthouse.
There was like, oh, it's going to be Twilight Batman. And I remember Kyle specifically, he's been in all these movies and he's great. It very much felt like to me like Twilight Batman. I was like, oh my God, I can't get over Goo Goo Dolls Batman anymore. Like if he keeps looking out of the side of the like this is enough. I've had enough of this.
Hey,
by the time the movie was over.
Fun fact. In this movie, they specifically note that his parents died in 2001 in October, which means that he was very possibly leaving a theater after watching Shrek when his parents were murdered.
Good for him. Yeah. I saw that they announced the sequel, and I was like, well, I could live without that, but sure.
I'm so stoked.
I'm happy.
Haley's really happy. She's acting like Kermit the Frog over there.
Hi ho, Kermit the Frog here.
You just mentioned the movie.
Second question, I'm going to let Delvin answer. Did we cross another tear in the fabric of time? How was that Ninja Dev, the hot take guy, and Eat the Hype the most logical in the last episode?
I don't know what the fuck's going on. It's like we're in the Twilight Zone. Shit just went left and it just stayed left. I don't know how to respond to that. It's just the thing. Donnie's a logical one now.
Sean, you get first dibs on this one. Is Splatoon going to come out in September and capture all of the disgruntled Halo players?
Yes.
Yeah, I will. Yeah, I'll be one of them. Mm-hmm.
Dude, I'm so stoked for Splatoon.
Splatoon, yes.
Honestly, I've never understood the hype for Splatoon, but I'm happy for y'all.
What?
You gotta
How can
you gotta
like
try it.
Batman and not understand the hype of Splatoon? What's the matter with you?
Same thing.
Alright.
Just
Hi.
Same thing.
How can I like? How can I
Where
like?
am
yeah,
I?
I don't know.
two characters looking like
Kyle
Batman.
says, let's Sean take. What's your overall hype rating out of 10 for Switch Sports?
Like unreasonable, actually. Like it's actually an 11, and I don't know why. The reviews should be bringing me down a little bit. My wife's reaction to it should be bringing me down. I'm like, there's gonna be a Switch like sports, like Wii Sports. She's like, okay. I'm like, so it's just gonna be me, huh? And she's like, okay.
Owner again, except for the three of us. There's three of us that are like, oh my god. And
Yeah, there's a lot of reason.
Who cares?
Dude, I can picture myself on Friday buying it, playing for the first time, and going like, I probably should have seen this coming. Like
Don't do that.
You know what I
We
mean?
gotta play together. We gotta play together.
Okay. Bowling, dude, Battle Royale bowling. Like,
Battle
let's
Royale
get
bowling.
it. Yes.
Battle Royale bowling.
$60.
There is.
Yeah.
There is. It's not like let's dream. It's there. That's all we need.
What?
Rip Halo.
You lines up 20 of you, Haley. You line up, you all bowl. You're on a timer. You've got to bowl. And then it takes like the top 10. And then you got to bowl, and it takes the top 7. You got to bowl, and it takes the top
And
4.
this isn't Switch Sports.
Yes.
I feel like next week
This was
I'm
in
just
the
gonna
demo. I was
come in here next
sold
week.
the day
and
that I
Donnie's gonna be just
bowled.
crestfallen.
As soon as I played Battle
Right.
Royale bowling, I was like, sold.
He's
Absolutely
hyping himself
am
up
buying this game.
too much for this.
I'm with you. This is the thing. I've been here before. Like I should. Like the reviews are out, man.
Wii
I don't know.
Sports U. You played Wii Sports U, and it wasn't that great.
I'm excited. Yeah.
Why are they waiting until after the release date to put in golf? I'll take the first stab at that. One of the things I found interesting in the demo is I actually think Nintendo's trying with Switch Sports, which I don't think they did with Switch Sports U. It seems like every sport has like a new take, a new mode on it, like a new multiplayer kind of, make it cool. Like the Chahambra, whatever, had like you could have 2 sticks, you could have the big stick or the little stick, right? And then you've got Battle Royale bowling. And I'm wondering if they've got something cool wrapped up for golf. Like, do they have like a Top Golf thing as a long driving thing? Like, do they have some cool multiplayer specific thing that they're trying to do for golf? Or are they trying to do the thing that's been very kind of in vogue with Nintendo during the Switch year, where they're trying to have all of the Switch games seem to have like a roadmap. All first party games that Switch has had, from Breath of the Wild on down,
Metroid.
they've all had a roadmap. Like, here's the game, and here's that next thing to look forward to. And they kind of keep that game going. And I think they looked at golf and they're like, yeah, that's the one people want. So let's hold it.
Mario actually had a 1-year exclusive on golf on Switch, so they just got to let that wrap
Camelot.
up, and then they had an exclusive deal.
This great golf game.
Pretty common stuff. Yeah.
Momentum.
No, and that's I think it's good to, I don't know, some people might think differently about it. The fact that it's free makes it totally fine with me. But like, it's not like they're withholding it, that they could have included it. They go, actually, it's $15 more for the golf thing. It's like,
how exciting
give me a reason.
How exciting would it be if they were like, here's 27 holes?
That'd be amazing. That'd be great.
Like, there's
27 holes of golf.
That'd be great.
It's the same as the Mario Kart tracks. Like, for better or for worse, we're going to be looking forward to Mario Kart tracks for the next year and a half or so. So You're right. Yeah, lots of roadmaps.
Yep. Delvin, you excited? Switch Sports?
Not at all. Not in the least bit.
So, how can you be so close-minded? I've been meaning to ask you. Like, this is what I think every time I listen to the show. How can you be so like tunnel vision to it? You're just, how can you be absolutely not just
by the way,
open
you
your
guys are hearing
heart?
my DMs. I get this immediate feedback.
I'm not close-minded to it. It's just that it doesn't excite me until I get it in my hand. Like, oh, this is actually really cool.
Nice.
And I don't want to get so hyped up, then play like be lackluster and like, oh, this is terrible.
And I'm just not really a sports game person. Like,
I love sports games.
So.
This isn't a sports game.
Delvin, this is for you. Comes writing in for the first time ever. At Sean Capri writes in.
Hi.
If I or Donnie declared that Jar Jar Binks is an awful, awful character and should be obliterated from the history books of cinema, would Dev disagree just to stay on brand?
Yes, he 100% would. He would tell us about all the great things Jar Jar Binks has done for
How
society.
he's always loved him, how his boys love him.
Yes.
He checks the pulse of the people. Everybody loves him.
You know what's
Yes.
even funnier about that? He would go straight into Legends lore, explaining that like Jar Jar Binks is a Sith Lord and be extremely happy about it. Because that's all Legend stuff. Like Jar Jar Binks is a fucking Sith Lord.
Oh gosh.
Jar Jar Binks is a fucking goof.
I can't believe you asked the question. I thought you'd save it.
No. Dev would 100% just
Man of the
be the
people.
contrary and tell us all the great things about Jar Jar.
Misa Jar Jar Binks.
Oh my
Don't do
god.
that.
Got a
Fucking
good
awful.
one. All right, we got two more. Rude Days 93. Kind of back on the car topic from last week. A friend of mine is getting a chance to ride in one of those self-driving cars. Curious, if given the chance, would you want to have one of those cars? And how comfortable would you be in one?
I mean, would I have to have a license? Because if I could have a self-driving car and go everywhere without a license,
I have no
sure,
idea if
I'll
you
take
have
one.
a license to drive a self-driving car. No
I
clue.
think you have to have a license to drive it now, but I'm assuming in the future you won't have to have one.
I don't think that should be a qualification to answer the question.
No, I answered the question. I said yes.
Dude, I
He
love
wants
the
to
idea
follow
of
the law.
like leaning back in my seat and listening
Yeah.
to a podcast or Steam
Yeah.
Deck while the car drives itself.
Yeah.
That's
Sign me up.
that's the beauty of public transportation without any of the hassle. That sounds amazing. That
Yep.
sounds perfect.
The car you own is your own Uber driver, but
Yes.
like
It's
It's
the
just a
bus, but
machine,
without having
yeah.
to deal with money, the fare, the pickup point, anything like that.
one thing I've done, at least at some point in my life, like done some looking into this, and the one thing that kind of like came to light for me in looking into it was that there'd be no need for a parking lot actually in the future. The car could just kind of like because you don't need to leave it somewhere. You don't need to necessarily like park your car at the mall. It could like go home, or it could go somewhere else, or do
I
something
see
for
what
you.
you're saying.
You know what I'm saying? So like even the notion of parking lots could go away, or the necessary like for how big they need to be, as my cat and wife
Plug
and
in
Pop come
somewhere
in.
and recharge at some point.
Maybe
But I
that's
get
where it
what you-
goes. Maybe that's where it goes. Yeah, I would, dude. I can't wait for self-driving cars. As somebody with 2 kids in the house too, it's like if they could hurry that up, that'd be awesome. Because the Capri kids, when we were learning how to drive, were terrible at it. So
As you say that, I think to myself, again, doing the podcaster thing when we do, I do love to drive. I really do.
I'd want to take over completely. Although that's
I-
probably the only way it all works.
I don't think I would love to drive an electric self-driving car. That's not the same.
Yeah, but then if you have an electric self-driving car, you can drive for a hobby. An electric
Yeah.
self-driving
That's the
car
thing,
will be
I'm
Yes.
thinking in
driving
my
Yes.
head, I'm like, I'll still drive my muscle car,
for a
but
hobby.
I would very much like to like ride in my self-driving car to somewhere I don't care to get there.
Exactly.
Okay. Yeah, because I do love driving. I'm a big fan of just taking
I
a
walk
drive.
everywhere, so having a car would be nice.
I don't know, man. I look at like I feel like I'm watching other people drive, and nobody's looking where they're going. So get them the hell away from the wheel and the like all that stuff.
I
I
mean,
definitely think it's better for the whole.
Mhm.
Self-driving is better for everyone versus everyone driving themselves,
Agreed.
for sure. Last question comes from TPR. Favorite box art ever? He said, Mario Strikers Charged. I love the art style that Mario is depicted in such a way.
That is great.
He's about to F the shit up. It's a really good question. Favorite box art ever?
I'm trying to think of one because I haven't bought a physical game in years, so I only get the box art that shows up on the console.
I'm really taken back by the Dusk. Have you guys never played Dusk, did you? Even though I talked about it like all year long.
I bought it on Steam. The
Like
Quake
Blood?
style,
Oh,
yeah.
I've
so
played
good.
it.
the shooter.
The Dusk and what's the other game that they're doing? I gotta look it up because TPR will kill me. Where is it? Why can't? Oh yeah, New Blood Interactive. That's what I'm looking for. Ultra Kill. In my Steam library, I've got these cover arts for Dusk and Ultra Kill, and they look amazing. They look like 80s horror movies. And I'm like, these are fantastic. Like, I love I almost want them as posters, like on my wall. Like, I want to make canvas prints of them or something. Like, they look great.
If I had to pick one off the cuff from like an actual game I physically remember owning on disc and the box art, I'd go Fallout 3 because it's just that
That's a good answer.
dilapidated, like destroyed Washington.
That's a good one.
The definitive answer, the most correct response is Super Mario 3 is the best box art. Yellow, the arms out, the Tanuki suit, title. It's actually perfect. It's perfect.
That's the most iconic box art.
Most iconic?
Yeah, I would say that's. I feel like Super Mario 3. Like when I think of Mario, I think of that box art.
Yeah.
I mean, we chose that as like basically the theme and art style of our wedding invitations. Like they went out with that, and we just basically took a Princess Peach to fly alongside them. I love that.
I definitely don't disagree. I feel like when I think of video game box art, for whatever reason, I think of like NES and Atari cartridges with like the
original Mega Man. The first Mega Man box art is terrible.
Or like Castlevania.
It's so bad.
It's so bad.
They're like paintings, and then they like have like scribbles of the system across the side and whatnot. Like they're very poster-esque. You know?
Yeah.
They look like album covers.
Deb posted one earlier in response to TPR asking this question, and I laughed.
What do you say?
It's in the Discord. I can't. Let me see if I can scroll up and find it.
I know it doesn't count because it didn't even come out yet. But I'm telling you, that box art for No More Heroes 3 on console, that's damn hot.
Man. They always have good box art.
It's really, really good. Yeah, they've nailed it. I kind of want to buy it just to have the box, which feels stupid. But I'm like right there. I'm like,
it's so small. Dev, where did you get this image? Oh my god!
He's not on the podcast. He can't answer.
It's like Ultraman or something.
I need to look up some.
I'm looking up one, and there's I just scrolled past it. What the heck was it? Gravity Rush is pretty sweet.
Gravity Rush is cool.
Yeah, Gravity Rush is good. Nier, I think, it's got some good stuff. Things. I feel like,
dude, I'm telling you, if you haven't Googled it yet, Google Atari box art. Damn, if that doesn't sell. It's really good. Like hundreds of images. Like I didn't have an Atari, but I tell you what, they nailed that.
Yeah, NES sell pretty similar.
It's so epic. It looks like a bunch of like metal covers.
Dude, this Mega Man art is something else.
It's amazing.
Why does he look like that? Oh my gosh, it's amazing.
Yeah. Those are going to be my answers. I don't think I have anything else.
Metal Gear Solid 3.
I've seen that one.
I like that one a lot.
In my quick looks.
It's a fun question.
I just saw Zelda Link to the Past, and now I don't know if do I love the box art, or is the game so iconic to me that I love the box art? But like that gold with the Zelda shield, Zelda thing.
Yeah.
That's a good box.
That feels iconic, right? Like when I see it, I'm like, that's what video games look like. Yeah, that makes sense.
I do love the Xenoblade box art, which is the Monado and the Green Hill kind of thing. I really do like that quite a bit. Honestly, like just a lot of anime stuff.
You know, it's another good one. Street Fighter 2 for Super NES.
Yes,
that's a really good one.
Yes, good call. Oh, what does Killer Instinct look like?
Street Fighter.
Killer Instinct.
I think it's Blanca and Chun-Li's.
Oh yeah. Oh man, the box art with Fulgore on Killer Instinct.
Are they all busting through the brick wall like the Super Nintendo one?
Let me look up, see if I remember. I think it's. Let me see if I remember, because I remember buying that in the stores.
I've got one with Blanca and like Chun-Li.
I think that's the main one. Yeah. That's it.
This says it was the DOS box art for PC, Street Fighter for PC.
I had that.
Street Fighter 2 for PC, that is killer box art.
Yeah, I had that.
But it's not the same as Super Nintendo, which is what I think of.
Okay.
And I don't think the Super Nintendo one is good.
I think it is. Well, I don't know if it was the box art or if it was just on the cartridge, but that is the same kind of key art.
Ooh, it's the box art. It's right on the floor laying down. Blanca's charging at Chun-Li, and Chun-Li's kicking. I'm looking at the box right now.
Oh, Portal had good box art.
Yeah, it is. It is the same as the cartridge. Good call.
Oh, I like this. I like this question.
Great question.
Freaking TPR. Where'd he
Good
come
guy.
from?
It's the show. We're live, man.
I like him. Like him a
Me
lot.
too. Me too. I like him a lot, especially that feet stuff.
Yeah.
Foot stuff. Wait till you guys see the next one.
Oh boy.
We have another bumper this week,
Uh-oh.
but you'll have to wait till next week. So once again, as we wrap up here, I'd like to thank both Haley and Sean for coming in and saving the day. The show literally went on because of you guys.
Yeah.
And it was
I
my
was
first
making a
podcast
sandwich.
with Sean.
Yeah.
There you go. So thank you guys so much. I look forward to editing, throwing this up on the feed for everybody. Remember, the show almost didn't happen. We fixed the glitch.
Fix the glitch.
Blame Dev. It's his fault.
Blame Dev.
That's it. Should we change the title of that? Blame Dev.
Yeah.
No,
I like that.
fix the glitch
All
is
in
funny.
favor?
Oh,
Oh.
damn it, Donnie.
Donnie.
That should be the title.
With that said, guys, enjoy the rest of your week. We'll catch you next week. Good night.
Bye-bye.